So welcome back to Gaming With The Goons and another episode of D&D, or another session of D&D. Last session, our adventurers took on the dragon rather successfully, managed to melt down the giant ice cube that the dragon was guarding, and each still a bunch of, we saw some gems, some booklets containing magical items, all relating back to the Arcane Brotherhood. We have got everyone here today except for Rob, who plays RuneSpark, and Dan will be stepping in for him. So, without further ado, let's get started. So our adventurers, after coming out of the ice cave after defeating the dragon, climb through the frozen or hole in a frozen lake, followed by a giant shark, transform into a human, and then
half orc.
Sorry.
I'm not a
humanoid creature, even. Thanks for correcting me.
I say to everyone, it's like, you see, I told you we can win this, right?
You said that as you spoke to Bonecar and or maybe you dreamed it when you all sat in the igloo. Taking a long rest. The morning awakens. It is quite cold. It is quite crisp. Everyone is all healed back up. What would you guys like to do?
Look at the stuff that I picked up, because I just picked it up. I didn't.
Yeah, make a investigation roll.
I think RuneSpark and Moen would probably be doing the same thing for their papers.
Yep, Moen and
Investigation,
RuneSpark made an investigation roll beforehand. Didn't.
I do not remember the results.
No, I do.
Okay.
So we'll come to
Just
that.
7.
So, so you're looking at a load of paper, and there's a lot of like runic symbols, and you assume it's something magical, but can you read it? Not really your expertise.
What about the weapons that I picked up?
The weapons,
or if they are weapons.
they're not weapons.
They're not weapons. I did
They're
random
like
sticks.
just random sticks and things that look like shiny, but not really.
I shall keep a hold of them.
Sorry, that was just the roll. RuneSpark managed to get a couple of runic documents. They relate to basically put in or transmutation, and talk about storing spells into objects.
And what about me? What was my document? Because last time it was about...
Yeah, so reading your document closely, it's actually about constructs. It's written by your mother.
Yeah.
And it talks about the creation of constructs and their tendency to, or at least in this setting, to attract souls from other planes. If a construct gets a soul from another plane, it becomes almost corrupted. The nature can become quite aggressive or quite chaotic. And your mother's basically details the effects of this happening and the correct rituals to avoid creating a construct like this.
And how to...
It doesn't really detail how to do the rituals as such, but it just details the importance of doing set rituals and following process of creating a construct to avoid any of the effects. And this document talks more about the effects of creating a construct and absorbing souls during the creation process.
Okay.
It's clear, and as you read it as well, it's clearly written by your mother. It's the same handwriting. It uses the same vocabulary.
Okay.
Okay.
Moen picked up like a bound manuscript.
You did pick up a bound manuscript. In that bound manuscript is details of. It's very complicated, but it talks about the creation of portals and the breaking down of realms. There's a bit in it that says mentions about the 9 hells. They're each a different realm, sort of locked within each other, almost like a lock inside a lock. It details other planes, so such as the material plane, the ethereal plane, the astral plane. It even talks about planes that sort of sit outside, or dimensions that sit outside of the known planes. A lot of it's theoretical, some of it's proven. There is mention of a monastery, Yanakiera, and that's where the Arcane Brotherhood has noticed the sort of the first and most deterioration of the fabric between the planes. Almost like that's where the tear originated.
How's that monastery's name spelled?
So YANI, and that's where they've worked out was the weakest point, and that's where they thought. And it does talk a bit about the cults and their plans, and the Arcane Brotherhood believes that the cult has used that sort of tear to progress their goals a lot faster than they would have if it didn't, if that tear never existed.
Okay.
Just for the viewers, there's a bit of backstory that's seeping in still from previous players. Is there anything Founder wants to do? You picked up some items.
Can I check my items? What's in the package?
Yep. So you saw an item about Florencia in it and took that and ran off with it.
Oh.
You can check this. In that it talks about the potential of corruption in Florencia, and this is a sort of time where you're. So for the events in your past, just for viewers, and being quite vague because there are some backstory items that haven't been revealed. It talks about the events that you know to happen in your past. It talks about the flooding of the slums of Florencia, and perhaps it wasn't all it seems. There was talk about corruption spells in the area beginning to grow, or perhaps some sort of outside force causing a lot of the events to escalate. Again, it's more theoretical. It's like papers, and it gets 3/4 way through, and then after that, there's nothing. It's almost like it wasn't a finished document. It looks like the document's been taken, or the person writing it
maybe died, or
maybe died. Maybe the dragon took it from him. You don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
So as you read through these books, is there anything else you want to do?
I guess RuneSpark would probably contact the council, or it's the Queen directly that is tattoo.
It's the council. You don't know who it is, but it's normally the Queen or a member of the council.
And just let them know that I have a limit, don't I? The tattoo message has a limit.
You can use it once per day. No, you can use it as many times as you want, but you can only contact the person directly.
Yeah, right.
There's no real limit to it.
Okay.
25
just
words.
25 words. So, I'm trying to figure out what I would say, what RuneSpark would say rather.
You can say it multiple times, so you just like
Coming home.
We'll leave like many voicemails.
Successful in slaying the dragon, inform Arcane Brotherhood. We have secured items of their research.
Yep, that's well within the word limit. You don't have to meet them. A voice comes back, and it's the voice of Gongos. Excuse my accent. I'm going to try and put a Scottish accent on. I guess. Right. Thank you for your help. Teleportation portal, will it be active? Come back and speak to the Queen. Sorry, I know it's a terrible accent. Everyone at the table is just in hysterics.
I'm assuming RuneSpark knows what the teleportation circle is.
Yeah, so
because as a player, I do not.
No. So it's referring to RuneSpark will know the teleportation circle. It's at the top of the ice, sort of on the
pretty much where we
ice
came
cliffs,
from.
where the other party came from. Moen didn't come this way, so maybe you might have heard of it. You
It
might
was
not.
probably mentioned during my investigation.
Maybe a passing, like a passing.
It's not something that concerns me because I'm there for the village,
No,
not to get
something
back
you
to
wouldn't have paid
WotC.
much attention to, but it is a way back to Waterdeep. They said I make it active for you, so whenever you want to use it, it will be ready.
I'm gonna go to Bone Carver.
Yep. So you take a bit of time to look around as you go out from the igloo. It's not snowing. It's early morning light. There's a lot of the villagers. They're all fishing or bringing fish back. The ice toads are back and they're hopping around doing little bits and jobs. They're sort of looking around as well and just watching what's going on. You manage to find Bone Carver, who's sort of just doing bits in the village and coordinating everyone.
Bone Carver.
How can I help?
Just like to say that we have to be off now because time is against us, so we need to go back to the Queen.
She goes, "Oh, thanks for your help and your party's help. I don't have much to give in terms of like material value or monetary value, but you can count us being allies."
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would also advise you to probably block the entrance to the cave, only because there is still possibly a lot of stuff down there that could be dangerous to this village.
She nods and goes, "Oh, I'm already on that. I've sent people to guard the entrance, and we plan to block it up. And perhaps, if we feel it worthwhile, we send small teams down in a very controlled manner."
Well, I've got to say, just be careful,
Noted.
as you guys are quite a small village and don't want more people to go missing.
She goes, "I share the same sentiment."
And well, once again, thank you very much. I put my hand out and give her a handshake. I don't know. if they
Moen
do
would
hand-
notice. They don't handshake.
Okay.
And she just sort of bows. And
So I do the same thing and bow, and I just walk away.
I would approach forward like, "Thank you for all the help you've given me," and then just plant my staff firmly in the ground and bow with one arm behind my back as a gesture from
Okay.
my druid's own circle.
she does the exact same, and she says, "Oh, I appreciate your help, man." Marin, sorry.
Marin.
Marin, yeah. She goes, "I appreciate your help, Marin. It'll be a shame to see you go. Are you not planning to stay longer?"
I'm sure I'll find reason to return.
She goes, well, I look forward to the day. In the meantime, be safe."
And yourself.
She bows again, sort of bows and sort of walks away and begins to sort of attend to the villagers, or to the villagers around. It seems like she's got more of a control of the village, rather than the shaman. She seems a bit more respected as well. So seems to be a good situation for the village at the moment.
Okay. Are the guards and magicians all gone back already?
They're not gone back yet. So
Oh, they're with
they're
us.
coming out of the igloo now. They've stayed
Okay.
in the igloo with you. So they come out of the igloo a bit after you.
They were very
you
big
go away.
igloos if we were able to keep that many people,
Well-
plus how many animals?
Not in the same igloo.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those igloos where you go inside and it splits up into
The
millions.
The card is splitting this on the outside.
Other spaces, the inside are bigger than others.
Pocket dimension.
The other pocket dimensions exist. is what I wanted to say.
Lurking.
Other time-space ships also exist, but
That is also true. Monarch, what are you doing at this time?
I was just still thinking about the documents and stuff. I wasn't really paying attention to them.
Okay, yep. So you just sort of mull over the documents, sort of reading it while following the group as they head around the village.
I just talked to
Say their
the.
goodbyes.
I talked to the mages and the guards, and just say, it's time for us to head home. That's literally all I say.
There you go. I think that's a wise idea. And then there's one guy at the back that's the one that got injured a lot. His face is just like, he just looks like homesick, like he wants to go home.
Alright, I'm gonna start heading out the village.
Yep. So you begin heading up the ice village. Anything else you want to do before you leave, or is it all right?
Oh, hold on. While
can
riding
travel.
on mouse.
I can't think of anything RuneSpot would do beyond say goodbye to
No, just say
Bone Cover as well, but that would be the exact same thing that the two of us have already done.
No,
so.
but that's fair. We just say RuneSpot says goodbyes. Does Fanrin do the same?
Exactly the same, yeah.
Yep. You all sort of say the
Send
same
my wishes to the
sentiments.
village.
How big is Saphira? Like how many people can she carry?
One. She's going to
Just
carry
the one.
one.
I'm trying to think. I don't know Robin's well enough to know if RuneSpark would.
You would ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, ride Saphira. Just to make it easier. He did ride her down the mountain, so
Yeah, I couldn't. I was trying to remember if he carried anyone down with him.
No. So you head back up to the ice cave towards the carves, the carvings and the runes in the ice. You see the pillars or ice, like I always get this mixed up as well. I don't know, the one that comes from the ground, they're not stalagmites, they're the other one, aren't they?
Stalactites.
Tights.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I always get confused, but the ones that
now
go up
you're
from the
going to
ground.
get ripped into for getting it the wrong way around.
Yeah,
we all
exactly.
are.
It happens. It's not the only one that does it. So that like ice pillars or ice spires almost that come from the ground, they each have runes on them. It's almost like it's not as, it's a bit more cruder than the one in the actual Waterdeep castle, but it's good enough. You approach teleportation circle. Takes a moment, and then you feel the familiar pull into like almost a weightless sort of feeling as you begin to disapparate, and then find yourself reappearing in the familiar grounds of the stone circular chamber with the high elves on the side just spinning the runes on the walls.
This was probably Murren's first time teleporting, so he
It's
probably
queasy.
he probably stumbles a bit as he reappears, just like that was new, that was not fun.
Put my hand on his shoulder again. It'll pass, I promise. It doesn't get much easier. It'll pass.
That's not reassuring.
I walk off and look for the queen.
The queen will be. Well, you have to go to the chamber and see if the queen's there. You'd notice, so you'd have to head towards the main foyer and then up the stairs into the viewing chamber.
It'll take some time.
Yep. Is everyone else going the same way, or does anyone else want to do anything else? What I will say is, you do notice that a lot of there's still quite a lot of people about. There's a lot of patrol here. It seems less of a refuge now, other than just tending to a few of the sick and the ill and the injured. It's more makeshift hospital. It looks like they've cleared some people back into the Waterdeep town. Having a quick look out the sort of windows and little viewing slots, you can see that the city's in sort of a rebuild stage. A very quick turnaround, but they're still putting a
Is
lot
there
of effort
anyone
into
who
it.
looks very injured still?
There's a couple. There's not too many, but there's a couple that look pretty injured.
Are they being tended to?
They are
or-
being tended to. There's enough clerics about. You can probably speed up the process, but it's not a difficult process. Just a couple of commoners that have got like broken legs or.
Do healing spells work on broken limbs?
I would
don't
say
know what
yes.
the
I'd say
extent of
cure
healing
wounds
spells-
would be yes, but then if you're missing limbs, then no. There's a spell for that. I think it's lesser regeneration or something.
I'm going to pick one of them and cast Cure Wounds at second level. So
Okay, so yeah, you go
2d8.
around and you kill this common who's got broken leg.
Do I need to actually roll for how much I heal, or not important?
Not one. I just bone sticking out his leg. You
Oh,
cleric
That was
snaps it back
definitely.
in. Well, the cleric tends to snaps back in. As he does that, you then put your hand over where the opening would be, and it begins to heal, and the skin begins to form back up and seal. So the commoner feels a bit more relief and a lot less pain. And it does sort of help, and the clerics thank you, and you go, we can tend to more people now. And just sort of spread the spell slots.
That's sort of like
you do as a druid, yeah.
He's someone who prefers to heal rather than actually get into the thick of it. Ironic, given
what happened in our last session.
Yeah.
You're making up for it now.
Yeah.
Atonement.
Yep.
That is probably what's going through his head. I need to atone for what I have done.
Yep. I will remind, because I believe you, Monarch, and you have got some items in the various guilds to pick up. So as long as you don't forget about that, but we'll head towards the Queen's Chambers first, if that's where everyone's going.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yep. So you can follow him to.
I'm still technically the tag along for this group.
Yeah.
So.
You've been here before, and it's been a long time, and a lot's happened since you've come. It's not as. Before it was really pristine and really well organised, and now it's just it's become kind of like a refuge. It's for you. It's like it's not as bad as it was when the first attack happened, but it's still pretty bad. You go up to the into the main foyer, which is quite wide, quite open. There's a lot of guards stationed around, and they go up some stairs up 2 stories, and then you walk onto basically a viewing platform. Once you're on this viewing platform, there's almost like if you imagine the wall twisting with like staggered steps, and they sort of twist and get higher. The Queen is not there. However, Gongos, Harry, the Wizard of the Guild, and Cyril. Yep. That's his name.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yep.
Of course the wizard is named Harry.
Yep.
Does he have black hair and glasses?
No, he is Wong's old character.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
He only has a first name for that exact reason. And then and you also have Sildor there as well. Sildor's sort of central. Gongos is to the right, and Harry's to the left. Gongos addresses you and goes, "All right, guys, welcome back. We've heard of your exploits, and if you go to the treasury room, you'll each get 20 platinum pieces each, equivalent to 200 gold each." And he goes, and that's for taking care of the dragon, and earning us a valuable ally in the Arcane Brotherhood.
I would assume that if payment was discussed before I went,
I
would have discussed my situation regarding either being paid at all or just being paid with metal.
Yes. So he'll give you 200 gold worth of metal instead if you want.
Non-metal.
Non-metal, sorry.
Yeah.
No, 200 gold of non-metal.
So
or
literally
items.
anything other than metal.
Yeah. Or if you want, he can give you items and stuff. If you want something specific.
I don't have anything specific that I need. So
Okay, so this gives you 200 gold of different wooden items.
No, different wooden items and furs and things.
Yeah, furs, some different furs, different pelts and stuff. He makes a point of saying humanely sourced as part of the Presser Price brand. He's got to sell.
He's got to sell.
How much platinum was it? Sorry.
20 platinum, which will be 200 gold worth. And in that you get some very round wooden shields included in there, and I mean round.
Just round.
Like say 3 or 4 round shields. Say 3 round shields. They're perfectly round.
I go to Harry.
Mm-hmm.
And in my pouch, I'm just like. In my hand are some remains of dragons,
Yep.
like thieves and all that. Could you see if you can do anything about it so that we can study? Because obviously we know that Tiamat is a dragon, and it may come in handy to maybe discover
you're on
about
this. Yep. So you're on this viewing platform. You hand out that. He's obviously sat away from you, so you can't reach him. But then he uses Mage Hand, takes your items.
Mage Hand is useful for anything nowadays.
Yeah. Takes your items at hand, takes them back, gives a little nod, and says nothing.
I watch this exchange happen, just muttering under my breath, disrespectful, shaking my head.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I don't approve of carving up a dead creature.
I
for
see.
gain.
I didn't understand why, but then that makes a lot of sense. I thought you meant Harry being disrespectful.
No.
That's just Harry.
No.
Wong knows all too well. It's actually quite fun for me to use your characters the way you play them against you.
My character hasn't showed up yet.
But he's a field person, so
yeah, that's field experts for you.
he's a field strategist.
I say I was just like I tell Gongos. No, actually I tell Sildor Hallwinter, because technically he's above me, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I tell him, I'm just like, we're gonna get ourselves ready, and we're gonna go get all our stuff, and we're gonna head off to look for the White Mask.
He goes, okay. But that is very important. We need to find at least something about Faram the White. The last couple of people we've sent out there haven't come back, so we're assuming it's very dangerous, and we want to send. You're taking a dragon. I think you're probably best suited for it. But we've also got recent attacks, recent giant attacks coming from the district of Gigantium and the town of Coldin, which was a very peaceful town, or once was a peaceful town.
Do I notice that area?
You do, because that is your hometown.
Yeah.
You know it's peaceful. You know it's rare that the giants would come down and attack anyone. So that's kind of odd for you.
And then can I say that to everyone's like, that's where I found. I was raised by the giants. They often stay peaceful. Can I ask what happened?
Sildor says he's not 100% sure what's happened. He thinks there was a giant called Blagaficus, which you have most players I think would know from the skyship where they fought Resmir in the previous half of the campaign. You would definitely recognise the name. They don't know whether it's something to do with him or Mica Horn has also been seen in that area.
And I said, okay, interesting.
So I go up to Sildor Hallwinter. Well, I step forward. I step forward one man and said, which one would you like us to go to first? Varam the White, or would you like us to go to the Giants?
He goes, it's your choice. We think Giants would be a good ally if we can figure out what's going on. He explains that he knows more of the cults moving north. At some point, if we don't catch up, they'll have so much cult in the north that it'll almost be a war zone. So any allies will help, but he also thinks the White Dragon masks are quite a high priority. So it's up to you what you want to do. But he does say you have avoided. The longer you leave Faram the White, the less information you might be able to get, because they did spot him in that area, and if he has time to move on, he might still be there. He doesn't know. But anyone he sent hasn't got any information back, and no one's sight of Faram.
Are there any other diplomats we could send to just speak with the giants?
Yeah, it's possible we can send some people out there. You sent a couple of teams out there, and again, they haven't come back. I know it sounds.
And I say, I'm going to where the giants are. I'm going back to my hometown.
We will talk about this.
I said to everyone, I wasn't expecting every people to follow me. I just said that I'm going. I'm just basically telling people I'm going.
Well, maybe
that's it.
your money. Maybe you have some favour with the giants. You were raised there after all. If you can win their favour, then that's not necessarily a bad thing. They might be more
Well,
respectful.
To me, I wasn't even trying to get the giant to help you guys. That wasn't my goal. My goal is understanding what happened to my family. They are my family. Although I'm not a giant, they are my family. So I'm going to help them as much as I can, as to the day that I'm dying. So I'm going there for sure.
I have sympathy for you. I never got on with my family.
We'll have to. I understand that you want to go to your family, but we have to slowly think about this between us three, because we can't just leave you going there by yourself. Well, us four, sorry.
Sildor says, well, take some time to think about it. Both will need to be done at some point, and come back to me if you want some more resource, and we'll see what we can spare. Resource is dwindling because he sent a bunch of people out. Their obviously their vault got attacked, so their monetary as a whole has gone down. Even though that wasn't the main thing the cult was looking for, they did take some, a lot of the money. So obviously resources dwindling a bit.
Okay.
And he doesn't want the giants to get on the cult side or be an enemy to them, because that's going to make it so much more difficult.
Okay, I just need to prep myself, and I'm just gonna step back. I'm gonna bow to everyone, and I'm gonna walk away.
Yep.
And go to the treasury.
Yep. So you go to the treasury. It's you kind of know your way. It's almost near the forge. You head towards the forge and then sort of come off a corridor, and it sort of winds back on itself to the left hand side, and then you come to like a treasury where there's a half elf sitting behind a desk with a load of papers. Behind him looks like the equivalent of like security deposit boxes, basically, all on a wall. There are two guards stood outside the door, and it opens into another sort of almost like a tower that's been converted into a bank.
I'm here to collect the money that we attacked.
Yeah. This, as you get closer, this half elf is quite small. He's about 5'2". He's sat down, quite slunched. He's quite old. He's got sort of like straggly sideburns, bit of a long goatee. He's wearing some thick glasses. He goes, I just hand you, almost like throws a pouch you almost, and doesn't say that much.
Thank you.
It's weighty because it's platinum.
Yeah.
So it's weighty.
I go to the forge.
Yeah, you head to the forge. What's everyone else doing?
Can I go with him?
Yeah, you can go to the treasury. Again, the old guy throws you the pouch, and you.
Runespell will probably go to the treasure as well, and then give a very cheery wave, despite the
Yeah,
more hostile treatment he's been
you
getting.
still get the hostile treatment of the pouch thrown at you, but what he's doing is taking off bits on his paper.
Would Murren go to the treasury for a bunch of furs, or would he go elsewhere?
He would go elsewhere. He'd go to almost like a storeroom of kinds, and like the storekeeper would trade.
How friendly is the storekeeper?
Much more friendly. So this storekeeper's actually a tiefling.
Okay, so he knows what it's like to be a more distrusted race.
Yeah, the tiefling. So she's 5'5", sort of long red hair against almost like a yellowy kind of tiefling skin, and obviously a bit more understands what it's like. So she's quite friendly. She's like, "Hi, what do you need?" And like almost way too bubbly for the situation.
I've come to collect the furs I was offered as payment.
Ah, yes. Apparently, you killed a dragon. What was that like? As she starts rummaging through like different sort of drawers, different cabinets, to try and find like the furs and collects them.
To end the life of any living being before its time is a painful task that I wish I did not have to undertake.
She looks like she doesn't really know what to say, and then goes, "That's fair. Here are your pelts. Enjoy."
I kind of just I slip her one of the rubies I took.
She goes, "Ooh, shiny," and then she puts it in her pocket.
Those rubies were 500 gold each, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. So you're gonna have 500 gold. So she's very pleased. And then as she sort of leaves, she goes, sort of shouts behind you, "Bye!" and sort of waves with. Like,
I don't even turn back. I just wave my staff up in the air. Just yes, I've heard you. I'm not turning around.
Yep. So that happened. What's Tanner doing?
Yep, same as everyone else. I'll collect my earnings, so to speak.
Again, the old half elf just sort of throws it back at you, takes something off.
Are there any names I can recognise on the deposit boxes?
Make I will say perception check.
Oh, it's quite good. Perception. 23.
So there are 3 names. 23 is quite high. So there are 3 names you pick up. So you have the first one.
Yep.
Which you notice is Queen Romalia.
Yep.
The second one you notice as Queen Renata, who you would know as the sort of queen of the Renatalon district, which is the part of your hometown's included in that.
Yep.
So Florence is included in that, as well as 2 other trade towns. That's part of a district called Renatalon. And Queen Renata rules the whole district as a whole, and they have individual, almost like nobles, that run each district.
Yep.
And the third one you notice is Severin, but that's been crossed out, and it's sort of been crossed out and appears to be like jammed and almost like the lock's broken.
Okay. That's fine. I'll just casually look around and walk out and meet the others. And
we just make a roll here. That's fine. So you do that and you sort of walk out, and the old half elf doesn't really take too much notice.
Does the Arcane Brotherhood have like a base of operations in Waterdeep? I'm assuming they do.
It's not. They do have a base of operations, but it's not in Waterdeep. It's actually a village outside of it. I will check the name for you.
I'm just thinking like returning their stuff.
Return their stuff. Yes, you can arrange to do that. Their actual. Sorry, I'm just checking the notes because it's the. So I'm just checking, trying to find out where it was. So they're quite a bit of distance east of Waterdeep. It's basically one big giant tower, a singular tower, and they do have a base.
Okay.
The back of the player's handbook is the reference I was talking about, the planes.
Yeah.
That'll be included in the.
This thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So obviously you have the main planes and you have districts house or different.
Would I
planes,
know
dimensions
anything
outside
about the different planes?
You would make a religion check, I would say. Well, it's up to you. You can either make a history check or a religion check.
Religion's plus
Yeah.
4. So.
It will give you different answers based on the roll.
2, so that's 6.
Apart from, being a druid, so you know there are different gods.
I probably know about the Beastlands.
Yes, you know about the
Like-
Beastlands. Yeah, and it's almost a dimension outside of a dimension.
Okay.
You don't know too much about what's in it, but you have heard of it, and that's where you believe a lot of the magical power for druids comes from.
And I know full well, I would know about Feywild because that's where my own powers come from. So.
Okay, yeah. So it comes from like Feywild. Maybe that's linked to the Beast World as well. So like the Feywild draws its power from multiple different places. But
I'm trying to think more along the lines of, would my personal beliefs be a case of, I believe like a dragon spirit would go to a plane, another plane upon its death, or would I know enough about the planes that is or isn't what happens?
No.
As a player, I have no idea how the planes work.
Does
so
kind of happen. Yeah. So you'd have enough reason to believe it. You wouldn't know for certain, but you'd believe that the souls go to a different plane.
Okay.
But it's kind of like the whole is there a heaven, is there a hell kind of thing. You don't really know for sure, but that's a reasonable assumption. Yep. So Arthur heads to the forge. You see a lot of the smithies just like hammering away. There's a lot of quenching of the weapons, so you hear like the waters evaporating. You see the little goblin Ollie running about, super hyperactive, just dying about.
Okay. I come in and was like, Ollie, hi, have you got the weapons ready yet?
Yep, so this is the short goblin with the big round glasses, and he ends up goes, oh, what? I can't remember his voice, it was like really high. It was like,
It was very high.
Hey, what's a weapon?
Greatsword?
Oh, was it the enchanted one, the great sword?
Yeah, the enchanted greatsword.
I guess. Oh, give me a second. And he just starts off before you even really finish the conversation, and he comes back with a great sword. Goes, follow me. And sort of just begins running in the other direction.
It's quite strong.
Are you following him?
Yeah, following.
It is like this goblin is like kind of carried this great sword, and this is like runs down. He takes you to a sort of like a trough. The water is almost it's not quite it's like liquidy and it's see-through, but as you stare at it you see like a twinkle of like magical energy. I need to roll a percentage dice.
Percentage and this, right?
Yes, that's that. Yeah, it's both percentage dice and total.
Oh no, 89.
That's not bad. So, yeah, that's pretty good. So it doesn't. It's not strength.
Okay.
But when you've got full health, it does allow you, Link style, to send a projectile out.
Oh.
You have to attune it, and you can use it 3 times a day max.
Great sort of projectile.
If you try and use it afterwards, it may be possible to send a projectile, but you risk getting exhaustion. That is a negative.
Okay. But what's the damage of the projectile? Is it the same as the greatsword?
No, will be a 1d8.
1d8.
Because the roll's quite high.
Okay.
Doesn't give you any more bonuses. But you can try and use it if you don't have HP, but then again, exhaustion.
Okay.
Or risk of backfiring.
Runespark and Murren. I know Murren would like step outside just see if there's like any small birds around.
Make a nature check.
Hopefully this will be better than my religion check.
Yeah. I cannot see it.
10 plus 4,
It's
14.
not a difficult check. So it's there's not as much wildlife down. It seems like a lot of wildlife has moved out since the attack. There are the odd little sparrows that ever come back every now and again.
Large enough to have a small note tied to their leg?
Yeah. You could
I'm
do
going
it.
to cast Speak with Animals on the nearest one then.
Yeah.
And basically ask them to take a note to my druid circle.
Okay. There you go. Squaw? Druid circle? Which? They can only speak simple.
Yeah.
Sparrows aren't super intelligent.
Is this so? You might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favour for you at the DM's discretion. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what the name would be of the circle. I have not come up with a name for it.
Oh.
So,
We can come up with a name later. But you explain the Druid Circle, or at least about how to find the Druid Circle.
and just like I've written a small note that's like the dragon whose name I have not written down. Has unfortunately been dispatched.
So Arafador, I think it is.
Yeah. Has unfortunately had to be dispatched. There have been reports of giant attacks. I didn't write the name of the village. In Colden.
Colden, yeah.
Colden.
Like cold and an ing.
I should really write this stuff down when I first hear it.
That's
not,
right.
Not.
You remember?
Do we know anything about this? Can we send someone to investigate?
Okay, and you write it in a letter to. Yep.
Yeah, and then just attach it to the sparrow's
Make
leg.
a persuasion roll. This will determine. He's going to take it, but it'll determine how quickly and how accurately he gets there.
Oh, I don't have a bonus.
Persuade him to either do it as purpose.
4.
Straight
4.
We'll get there, but it might take some time.
It's not meant to be an urgent matter. Just
So Sparrow goes, squawk. I'll take it. And then this flies off.
Ollie, where's my second weapon?
What was your second weapon?
I think it was either spear or lance.
Oh, you wanted a spear. It was. We'll come back to that. You, Monarch?
Yeah, my weapon as well. 2 of my weapon. One is longbow, and the other one is the rapiers.
Yep. So if you roll a percentage dice roll 2, the percentage dice we roll it twice for 1 for each weapon. Tell me which.
I got the D100.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so D100 and the D10.
And a D10 as well.
D100 and D10 as well.
Yeah, roll it for once. The first one will be the longbow, and the second one will be the rapiers.
D100, I got 88.
Oh, that's quite good as well.
1 one below me, mate.
So.
And then I need to roll 1 D10. Do you say?
No, then roll
No,
again.
you rolled a D10, so that's all right. So you got 88. So you need to roll it again for the rapiers.
Rapiers.
Yeah.
Okay. 39.
Oh no.
Okay.
Shall I do my one just to skip it?
No, so I'll do this first, and then we'll come back to yours. So for the longbow, when you're using the longbow, you get a +2 to your D20 roll.
Yes.
And on a natural 20, it homes towards a target. So if you even fire it at an angle, as long as it's a D20, it will home back
Could you imagine if it comes out
to what your target is.
100?
Okay.
It's called the Homin Hummingbird Longbow.
Okay.
nice sound effects there.
Yep.
That's what I do.
For the rapiers, it's not as good a roll, but they do now, as you quench them and put it back out, you feel like it's getting power and it feels powerful in your hand, and it sort of just fizzles out. And now when you put them out, they just glow like you realise you can like make them almost like a torch. So they kind of glow to give off light. So your rapiers
Just glow.
can glow if you want. Sorry, your percentage roll was terrible, but you still have to pay the fee, which I think was it 600 for? I think you might have paid half it already though.
Yeah, I think I paid all of them.
Oh, then you're fine.
I've paid all of them.
You've paid all.
Because you said that's why I asked you.
rapiers. What's the skills for the rapiers?
So if you want to, you can basically just
Make it
make it light up.
Like that. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But they both do that. The longbow's +2, and if you get an natural 20, it
At
will
least
home
he
towards
doesn't
the
need to get
target.
a torch out anymore.
So-
He used to just
So the longbow is the D20 +2.
No, so you had so you rolled
has
D20 and then you had
beacon
+2
swords now.
if you're using the longbow.
So wait, say that again.
So if you're using a longbow, you'll roll a d20, then you'll add 2 to that, and as well as your modifier, your dex modifier.
Okay. So, but it's not adding the attack.
No, not attack, just the d20 roll.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry?
Yes, maybe.
It's called Ollie.
Ollie.
What did you call him?
Smithy.
Smithy. I know, you're speaking to the goblin that does most of the handing. The smithies don't say anything. You can thank them, but they just won't speak to you. Anything that Farron wants to do? Do you want to get any items? Do you want to...
I didn't order anything, did I?
You didn't, but you're welcome. We can
Okay.
say, because you weren't
No,
here,
I don't
if
want
you
to.
want to order something, you're more than welcome to.
That's
Did
awesome.
Rune Spark?
No.
No, he didn't. I think he went and spoke to the guild, though, about something, but I can't remember what.
Oh, I have no idea.
I will tie up with him. We'll tie up with Rod after the session and see if he's got something. I don't think he's written it down there.
Have a weapon done as well.
Doesn't appear to have.
Cool.
He'd probably go to the Alchemist Guild anyway.
Yeah,
Because that's his general
It
general pot of call.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
partially because I'm not sure how to play him for
Well,
a
no,
role playing
so
session.
So what he'll do is he'll probably go back to the alchemist area and then take the documents he had with him about transmuting into spells and have a play around with that to try and get the mechanics and try and find out how that works. Maybe do a bit of repairs for Saphira. She got quite badly injured. Just make sure she's working properly.
Oh yes, fear is the thing.
Yeah. Saphira's damaged. And just sort of check that's working. So as he's doing that, he'll disappear and do that in the alchemist section of the Wizards Guild in the castle. Is there anything else Farnon wants to do in this time? Prepare.
Not at this moment.
Not at this moment.
No.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I also need to go to the places they in charge magic items.
Yeah. So you need to go back to the Wizards Guild and speak to Harry.
Yep.
What did you want him to do? Sorry, can you remind me?
I was asking for a spell, like a basically because I'm not really magical person, so asking for a spell that I can use it.
Yes.
Some sort of like a rain or something.
Like a ranged spell, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 1 second. You continue. Let me find what spell.
Okay, yeah, because it was a specific spell, and I can't quite remember. But if we can come back to that.
Yeah.
Right. What Fanrin gets is his harp attack glows. And you mean get a message. It is telepathic, so only you can hear this. It sort of burns, and then you hear trouble brewing in Trade Town, up north. We feel like history's going. Hang on, trouble brewing in Trade Town. We feel like trouble is brewing.
Mm-hmm.
We will keep an eye on the area. We'll get back later. I'm out of words.
Okay. And I presume I can respond.
You can reply, and you can reply to this message.
Which trade town is this?
Sheldtonian, which is the trade town near Florencia, or one of them.
Okay. I'll just relay the message to the rest of the team.
Are we all back together then?
You can find each other. Not yet.
Sorry.
You can relay it by running and finding.
Or I'll do it next time I see everyone.
Okay, yeah. Noted. So not yet, but when you all go back, you all know that information.
By the way,
Yeah.
I found out it's a cantrip.
Cantrip.
Mirror illusion.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah. Mirrored illusion. That was it. Yeah, I do remember. Now you said it. Yep. So you go back to Harry. You paid him only half for the illusion, I believe. So you find Harry and he pulls out a scroll from his pocket. He begins to give it to you, and then pulls away the scroll before you're about to grab it. And he sort of puts his hand out and goes, "Second half of payment, please."
And I gave him basically the money that I just got.
Yep. So you give him the 20 platinum. He takes it and gives you the scroll. Yeah.
Go on.
The scroll is mirrored illusion.
Yeah.
And it's got 5 uses of mirrored illusion before you'll have to. Yeah. Because the way scrolls work is you have to, unless you're a wizard, you can't really. It takes money and time to scribe it.
Yeah.
And the money's enough for like a good amount of illusions, but it's expensive.
Okay.
But 5 uses is quite generous for the price.
Yeah, got it. Thank you, Harry.
He nods and then walks away. Again, very socially awkward. Right, so are you all going to tie back up, or?
I'm waiting for one spear.
Oh, your spear, yeah. So back to your spear. Ollie comes running back with a spear. You wanted that enchantment as well, didn't you? If you're Ollie, the D100.
69. Sorry.
Was that
So immature.
69.
It was.
Yeah, that's actually 69.
You're so immature.
So you get a blink spear as you quench it. So if you throw your spear, it will return back to you. It doesn't give you any bonus of damage as such, but it will return back to you, so you'll never lose a spear. You'll never pay for more spears. It's very similar to the mechanics of the blink daggers that Monarchs has. It's like and appear back.
Okay, before I leave, I need to make one more weapon.
Yep.
I know it'll take some time, but I need to enchant. I need to get the weapon first, and then come back and enchant it. And then.
Okay.
So. I need to go to the.
Yeah, you can get
armory.
To the armory.
Take it.
What weapon do you want?
A lance.
So you can grab a lance. You can take it back to the enchantment bit. Ollie then informs you. No more enchantments. Need money.
I can give you money.
Resource dwindling. Need lots of money.
How much?
And he depends on your enchantment, and like depends what you want. If you're not sure, he'll go. I need 800 gold minimum.
Okay.
For low level enchantment.
Okay, I'll just hold on to this lance then. Lance doing me good for my weapon.
Yeah, because they're obviously the more resources you use, and they need money back in, and
okay.
Quite a lot.
Well, I'm gonna try and look for Rune Spark and.
Yep. So you can all
everyone else.
Yep.
Collect everyone. So you collect everyone.
I've probably just been stood out the front. Like,
Well,
if there's
yeah,
any kids around, just entertaining them with spells and things, just making flashes.
And all the kids, it's like like amusement and wonder, like just as like their parents are like repairing things and you got to entertain them,
Probably
keep
just
them out of the
glancing over
way.
their shoulders at the half orc that's around their kids.
A little bit, but
I know I'm in a city, so
you're
probably
in
more.
Waterdeep, so the good thing about Waterdeep, and you wouldn't know this, is that Waterdeep's very multicultural compared to the rest of it. So as soon as you go out of Waterdeep, yeah, people are a bit more wary. You do still face the prejudice in Waterdeep, but it's not as widespread. It's almost like pockets, and there's some sections of Waterdeep which you go into, yeah, it's bad idea for a half orc. But generally, you've got free reign, and as soon as you go outside Waterdeep, that's when the prejudice is really quite strong. Waterdeep's sort of the first town to be accepted from different races, almost.
Hence the goblin and tiefling.
Yes, yeah. Hence the working goblin.
Oh, so I had another great sword. I'm gonna
Yes.
drop that one down first, otherwise it'll be too much.
You'll be
stuff
too
to-
heavy. Yeah, you've got
So
a
I'll
lot of stuff
drop-
to carry.
I want to drop one of the great swords,
Yeah.
and then I'm also going to
can-
actually drop
I
my
do have
crossbow
a
as
spell
well.
that
Okay.
can make things easier to carry.
Yeah, but I've got two great
I was
swords.
gonna say yeah. So you've dropped a
I dropped the crossbow,
heavy
the
crossbow, or
bolts,
normal crossbow.
normal crossbow,
Okay.
the bolts, and the great sword that has nothing to it.
That's fair enough. I think you're like upper limit of what you can carry. So if you're trying to carry too much more, then it depends.
I don't really have a lot of stuff, to be honest.
You have a lot of weapons.
Trident, spear, and a great sword.
And lance.
And lance.
Oh yeah, and a lance. I forgot about the lance.
Yes, you got 4 heavy weapons, so you're carrying a lot of weapons.
Strong like an ox.
That's what I mean. Like I know what your strength is. I think it's enough, but I think just be careful if you're trying to carry more or heavy items. Right. Okay. So you end up putting all this back in the armory. You go find everyone, and get everyone back together as a group. What does everyone want to discuss?
Where we're going.
Of course, right now our decision is either Giants or Baron the White, and by you Monarchs tone, obviously he's going to go back with the Giants. That's not a discussion for him. He's going to end up going to the Giants. But the question is, where will we all going?
I've sent a message to my druid circle to ask them to investigate the giants, but I cannot guarantee how quickly we'll get results.
Okay. And
The dragon cults are the probably more serious threat, but we need all the allies we can get to fight them.
that is true.
How far north
Fandrin?
is the mask? Or do we
Mask.
know? The white mask.
You know you can get to it's a town north. There is a teleportation circle to nearby, so
Okay,
it wouldn't
so you
take
don't
that
necessarily
long
have to-
to
okay.
travel there. They can get you nearer. They can get you nearer to that than they can. They get you at the base of like the Gigantium district, and then you'll have to walk through a couple of different towns. That so you might not know this. The way that the giant town works is you have Coldin's like the utmost of the mountain,
Okay.
almost above the clouds, and then coming down a mountain, different sort of villages that each contain like a type of giants.
Okay.
So you'd have to sort of work your way up from the base of the mountain. You have to work your way up.
Cool.
It wouldn't. They can teleport you nearby Gigantium, but there's a bit of a risk because they don't know location
What,
perfectly.
what about the white mask? How long will it take us to get to that location?
They've got teleportation. It'll take you about maybe half a day's travel. They won't get any closer because the town is run by Yanti, which are almost like humanoid snake creatures.
Cult allies, or would I not know?
Don't know. They don't know. The belief. I think the belief was. It did come up in a previous session. I think the belief was they didn't think they were working for the cult, but Varan the White ran there anyway.
So what do you think, Fandrin? Where would you like to go?
It's a tough call because the mask is the source of power. Like we can have giant allies, but if Tiamat has the mask and the cult has the mask even, I'm not sure how they stand against that power. We can have all the allies in the world as well. But at the same time, I do understand.
We could not stand up against even one mask without all of us.
I think so. Yeah.
I think Rinspark would also share that thought. Like, it's better to stick with numbers if you're going into someone with the white mask. Same with the giants. Giants aren't the most they're not like the weakest of creatures. They're quite strong. Can be quite strong.
So either way, we're sticking together, and
I'd
you
agree.
appears to have made up his mind. So
The
it would
Giants.
appear the Giants is the direction we're going.
I think Fanrin's Runespark might have some sort of inkling, but Fanrin would know the most reason. Or would you know? You wouldn't know really,
No.
because he hasn't really shared that much with you.
Definitely not with me.
Your Monarch hasn't shared that much with.
I've only known him
Fandarin.
for a couple of days, so
Same here. Don't
Yeah.
you worry. I'm the same as well. I've only known him a couple of days.
The Yanti are in a place called Borska Bridge,
Borska Bridge.
which you would know because it's been mentioned before.
I mean, if I was still Woo, and obviously, to be honest, if I was Woo, we know what would happen. Straight decision.
That's just the last known location of Varan the White. They don't know if it's a cult base. I don't believe it is, but they're not sure. And they need to find information of if Varan is there, if he isn't there, where he's gone from there.
I'm not trying to be you know, anything harsh or anything, but let's be honest, the ones that they've sent out to scouting again for Varan the White, they're more likely to be dead, and I think the town that he was near in, that town is a very dangerous town no matter what. So with everyone saying we need to stick in groups, we need to stick in numbers, so let's go to the Giants then.
And I think Monarch is no better person to be with at the time, because then he knows the town, they know him, and that respect, I think we stand to have a better chance than if you were to go without you, Monarch.
So Runespark asks, oh well, so if we go to like the Giants villages, what's your sort of approach? Would you be more diplomatic, or just to sort of see what's going on? So what's your purpose, or what's you Monarch's purpose?
So, first of all, I just say thank you for everyone understanding and support. It means something to me. And before you guys was talking about you can use the spell to send us to the village and something, but it's not, you can't get too close. But what if that, because I was born there and then I know where exactly, I don't know if that help, can we get
You so you still, because you could do that and it would help, because there's no as mechanics, it is me as a DM speaking, that would help, but the mechanics, as there's no rune circle there, there's still a risk, but it's a reduced risk because you know the area.
Okay.
That's just sort of player knowledge. You wouldn't necessarily know yourself, but you can definitely focus on the area when you teleport.
And I say, I don't really have a plan, but I was just thinking about straight back to the village and basically find out what happened really, because obviously at this point that we know almost little of it about what's going on, so I just want, if it's possible, we can jump straight to the village and then see what's going on.
What's everyone else's thoughts? This is me as a DM speaking, just to prompt you to.
Wherever we go, I need to recharge spells before. I mean, I probably wouldn't say recharge spells.
No, but you'd want
as a player, I've used some
recharge
spell
energy.
slots.
Yeah.
I need to regain my magical energy.
Yes. There you go.
I would advise not to, as much as I know teleporting there straight away because you know the place would be quite good, but the chances of it actually us teleporting into the village might not be as high because there's no rune circle inside your village. So if we do end up teleporting and we don't end up in your village but somewhere quite far outside, it will be a little bit, it will take us a little bit longer journey to do that. I'd rather just go with the rune circle so that we know that we've arrived at that certain point and then go into the village instead of gambling with that. Because obviously I know you understand where you live, but the rune circle might not. Because there's no rune circle, teleporting there could be quite dangerous for everyone else. But that's just my thought. It's just what everyone else wants to feel, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have
Must
a problem.
we use the rune circle again?
Unfortunately, that's the fastest way to probably get there, so yes.
I mean, I don't have a problem because once we get to the rune circles or somewhere near, that I know exactly where to go.
Yeah.
So to me, obviously, I can guide everyone, to the closest town or to straight to, if you need it, straight to, our village. So
Okay.
if you want to take a safety, a safety role, I'm fine with it. I just want to go back and see my family. That's all.
I understand that, but we'll go with the plan of going into Rune Circle. But I know you're in a rush to go back to your family, but as I think most people are quite tired from our little ruin travel, so let's take a quick rest first before we do anything else. Let's take a rest at least before anything else.
You need a short rest or a long rest?
I need a long rest for spell slots.
Yeah. So would there be talking about a long rest there? Then heading straight to the straight to Colden, sort of mid-afternoon.
If that's what everyone wants, let's all get ready, get ourselves ready, get your weapons ready, get yourself all up for it, because we don't know what's actually in the village at the moment. So just get yourself ready, and we'll meet outside the Rune Circle tomorrow morning. Tomorrow lunchtime. Go back to a room in the...
Yeah, you can find a room.
Castle?
You can find quarters, so you can go to the guard quarters.
Would I have my own quarters there?
You'll have guard quarters, so you...
Would I not have my... Because
you're
I am
a
a knight.
captain, so
yeah.
you're a captain.
I was thinking, I was like, I should have my own room.
You're in the guard quarters.
Yeah.
You like to sleep near them, but you do have your own sort of enclosed section of the quarters.
I'll go back there then.
So it's almost like you're the only guy in the office who's got a cubicle.
Yes.
Kind of style. You haven't got your real own room, but you're just like a private bed.
Would I have been provided lodgings, or
you would have been provided lodging in the nearby inns and the like the fancy inns and war meets. So you can go and stay there. By extension, you could probably get that from the council, same with Runespark.
Okay, I very, very nicely request that Runespark and Merrin.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
He's already got one because he's already.
Oh yeah, I request a nice accommodation.
Make a persuasion roll just to see how nice it is, whether it's the same one or not.
Oh, 19 is quite high.
Oh,
persuasion is that?
it's better than mine apparently. Not that Marin's really one for like materialistic quality.
Same, it's the same in.
Oh no, if I should suggest that everyone gets the same.
Okay. So the
equivalent.
They extend it out to everyone. That's a good enough persuasion roll. And to be fair, it wasn't a difficult check anyway because you have helped the Council of Waterdeep out quite a bit. So you then begin to head to a nearby inn. You see at the outside they just there's a guy that's preparing the roof and that's finally finished. The wood on the outside is a bit charred. It's still together, and they sort of just strengthened it up a bit more bits of wood and this inn is sort of it's completely wooden. It's got fake antlers, wooden antlers carved from the sign on the inn.
But clearly fake
clearly fake. They're wooden. So they're clearly fake antlers, like a wooden carving almost. You go inside, and it's actually quite. It's nice. It's not the most fanciest place, but it is quite cozy, and it's really quite comfortable. They sort of get more people staying for the aesthetics of the place, and like the wooden bars, wooden tables, wooden cups.
They really like their wood.
Just this inn. And it's sort of a selling point from all the other inns, which are quite just the standard inn fare, bit of metal, bit of iron. Well, there's a lot of inns in Watermead, in Waterdeep. So you begin to take a long rest, and we'll take a quick break there, and we'll be back in a second. Alright, welcome back. So us guys are back from the break. So our adventurers all taking a long rest and wake up at noon the next day, and they're all ready to head towards the district of Gigantium, which is a mountain range full of little villages containing giants. So as you guys arouse, the sunlight's quite strong in Waterdeep. It's sort of midday sun. It's quite warm. It's not very sticky. There's a nice little breeze that cools it down. Not muggy at all. Are you guys going straight to the teleportation circle?
Yeah, I'll head into it.
Yeah, for all.
Yep. So you go down. You head round towards the teleportation circle. You head down the hallway, where you have the long sort of hallway into a circular chamber. The high elves at the side spinning the almost like the sections of the pillars to create a pattern of runes. As you all get into place in the middle of the teleportation circle, the runes begin to go out purplish energy, and a blast of purplish magic energy comes up, and you feel the familiar weightlessness as you disapparate, and then you reappear in at the base of a mountain. The ground is quite grassy at the moment. You can see this mountain goes up high. At the tip of the mountain you can't see because it's above the clouds, which would be, as your monarch knows, is his hometown. As you go up to the top, it will get colder. You monarch knows that going up the mountain you'll have to pass through 3 villages. The first one containing hill giants, the second one containing fire giants, and the third one just before Colden being frost giants. Colden being right at the tip of the mountain. And they obviously contain the cloud giants.
Would we all know this?
If your monarch decides to tell you.
Okay.
I tell them the first 2.
So he tells you about the hill giants and the fire giants. So 2 first villages going up. You have to pass through them to get up to the top of the mountain. Around the village it's a bit rocky and it's a bit dangerous. That's where a lot of some of the not so smart giants have fallen to their death by venturing too far away from the village and then just sort of like rock slide, fall down to the base of the mountain. So some giants aren't intelligent.
Okay, I tell everyone, and just like, if we stick close to your monarch, I don't think anything should happen to us.
I think so. Keep our not necessarily heads down, but don't get into too much trouble.
Yeah, try not to do anything silly. I think we should be fine. So I'm just gonna follow you, monarch.
And then, then I start running.
Start running then.
Okay, so you start running towards the.
Because the things I know it so well, so I just like one course, like I know exactly where to go and
Yeah.
like follow me.
Right, so you begin to run at a brisk pace.
What's his speed?
It's quite fast actually because he's the backseat. What's your speed? Is it 30, 35?
Just 30. But
Just 30.
Oh, I can keep up with him then.
At maximum, I can go 60, but that just.
But then if other people can keep up with them, then it's fine. If other people can move 30, then they're fine. I thought you'd be faster.
I definitely can keep up because I have a line.
Yeah, it's not everyone you to keep up.
I'm just like if he goes more than 30, then I'll probably have to shapeshift. Although admittedly, I don't know if I'm shapeshifting from.
Is you dashing towards the base of the mountain?
Yeah.
He's dashing, so
60 feet.
yeah. So
Okay,
60 feet
Give
per.
me a second, and
I'll always be
any
10 feet
faster.
behind him.
Yeah.
Only because my line can do 50.
I'm assuming Runesprout would be on his.
Rinswat will take severe if you might dashes because he won't be able to catch up because he is slow. 25 feet.
Dash as well, in that case. If I get 70 feet, it's a bit quicker.
What's that? You get.
I'm 35 feet, so I get 70.
Okay, so you get so you can. So you see you might dash. Takes you a little while to realise he's dashing, and you just pick up pace, and then you might just see he's thundering past you, sort of slow his run down and make out he couldn't really catch up with you because obviously you need to lead. So Fandarin's faster than you.
And they
want
just see the form of a giant eagle swoop overhead.
Oh wow!
I have a fly speed of 80 feet. It's the only way I could
Yeah, I
have
know. any
any chance of keeping up with him.
And now this giant eagle just comes above your head.
Ridiculous as a look
Make, as you're flying up, make a perception roll, please, because you are at the top. When you're flying, so you can probably get a better view of the giant eagle.
Is this sight?
It would be sight, yes. So you would have
Advantage.
keen sight as well. So I think you have advantage.
Yeah. And I'm not quite sure how my beast form works with regards to my stats.
Yeah, you keep the same mental stats, I believe.
So I have advantage, but I'd use my own wisdom.
Yes.
Score.
Yes.
That's unfortunate.
But yeah,
I think. Yeah, giant eagle's perception is 4 minus 3.
Oh.
Mine is actually lower, but
It's not, this is where you need polymorph on yourself.
so that's a 15,
Or true polymorph.
and that's a 15, so 18.
No, that's not enough. It's enough. So you actually notice that you see 3 large figures sort of run into a makeshift hut on the first sort of village on the base of the mountain, almost quite near the base. So maybe it's a little bit above, but it's quite close to the bottom. You see 3 big, you can assume them to be giants, they are quite big, sort of hide in the larger sort of hut, or the longest.
Do they appear to be hiding
hut.
from me?
It's not necessarily from you as such. They just seem to run in there. So they seem to move and just run in there. They don't necessarily know it's you or not. If they weren't looking up or anything, it would just run in there. And so you see that, and you do see a lot of other large figures laying and like almost look stationary still, just on the ground. And there is a good 15 easy you can count.
But from this distance, I can't tell if they're actually dead.
No, but they're not moving. So like as you flying towards it, they don't. You haven't seen them move for a little while.
Well,
At
I'm
all.
20 feet faster,
Yeah.
so can I fly so I'm directly over them to get a closer look?
Yeah. So if you're a bit closer, I'd say considering the same perception roll, the figures you see on the ground are corpses.
Okay.
You have to land to see what's really going on, but you can see their corpses, and you know there's some figures running.
I'm gonna like double back
big
and
village
land
form.
in front of you and revert back to half orc form.
Yep.
Just say there are a lot of dead giants up ahead.
So you might know this being hill giants in the first village.
Can just for the audience, can you tell me or tell us about the giants? Like what are they?
So hill giants are They're not the most. They're not the smartest of races. They sort of live in hilly areas. That's why they're at the base of the mountain. It's not as high, but it's high enough for them. They tend to look like your like typical trolls you get in sort of fantasy games and fantasy films. They're quite big and bulbous, big muscly arms, often carrying like clubs and makeshift weapons almost. Nothing really of any sort of proficient, and tend not to wear that much armor or that much clothes other than just modesty.
Okay, so I was like, in my mind I was thinking it's like that's not good because obviously, although they're at the front gate, but they probably, if they can, some people can, like, you know, they can kill a bunch of giants in the same time, so they probably got a lot of people or probably some powerful enemies. So in that case I start wanting more faster.
Yep. So you
Can I examine the giant bodies to see if I can figure out what killed them?
are you still in?
No, I've
You wanna
changed.
get out there?
I changed back to human.
Okay, so
or
when we
half-orc.
get closer, you can, but you're not quite there yet. So yeah, you begin to run forward. You come into the main village, just up the mountain. It's a good 100, well, it's more like 200, 300 feet up the mountain, and then you come to the village. It's not a huge village. It's kind of almost the flat. A circular flat area that's maybe 200 feet diameter. At the back of it is the all these sort of, they're quite large huts, but they're all made out of mud, hay, clay, basically all sort of makeshift natural materials. They're quite crudely built, but they are quite stable. There is a very large one, which seems to be like the makeshift village hall almost, and there's sort of individual huts. As you approach, you can see there is a good 15 dead bodies here. Please make an investigation roll to see what's killed them, or medical, whatever's higher.
Medicine is far higher. +7 to +0.
Oh, wow.
Oh, not 20. Doesn't
Nat
matter.
20. Oh, cool.
So 27 for medicine.
We'll come to that in a second. And then you, Monarch, I need you to make a perception roll, please.
Can I?
You, Monarch, gets advantage because he knows the area.
Shall we say that again?
You need to get a perception roll with advantage because you know the area.
Perception.
Yeah. So
17.
I'll come back to Founder in a second. Marin knows. So you investigate the body. You start looking around, and it's quite clear to see that they have died from almost impact. So a lot of their bones are crushed internally. It seems like something really powerful or strong has come down, and it's almost like bludgeoning damage that have crushed their bones and killed them all. There doesn't seem to be any actual weapon damage, but there seems to be a lot of bruises, a lot of high impact crushed bones.
Like something
fractured
with
ribs.
a very large rock has.
Yeah, exactly,
hitting them.
exactly.
Can I see, is there any, like, a battle, like, have been a battle around here?
Yeah, what was your perception roll?
I got 8, 17.
Okay, so with that perception roll, you can tell there's been a little bit of a struggle. There's a lot of the area between the huts has been cleared almost. Like the giants were expecting a battle. There's normally a lot more resource or structures in the centre of the village, which is no longer there. So there is some sort of struggle. But what you do notice is on huts of 3 doors, there are some notes with a dagger stuck on each of them. So a dagger holding the notes up, and then on 3 separate huts there's a bit of paper with a dagger on, another bit of paper with a dagger on, another bit of paper and dagger on.
Can I take all 3 of them with the dagger?
Yep. They read. So one paper says I.
I read it out loud, by the way. So
Yep.
everyone can hear.
So everyone hears. You read the paper one at a time. It says I am Monarch, and underneath Monarch is a picture of that necklace or the amulet that you're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
How's Monarch spelled?
MONARCH.
That's my last name.
Yes. So you Monarch.
Yeah, and a picture of what? Sorry.
You Monarch wears an amulet. You've seen.
No, but they didn't know. They didn't know I'm wearing them.
Oh, you hide the amulet.
She's showing them. It's like cover, but I'm wearing them.
Yeah, it's a picture of an amulet basically.
Okay.
Which you Monarch has worn for player knowledge, but if he hides it, then you wouldn't know that. Most people, well, Fandrin would recognise this as the same style amulet that Mica Horn wears.
Okay.
It's the same style, the same look.
Yep.
You might know that too.
Yeah. So.
1 second. What did Fandrin want to do earlier?
Oh yeah, it's just to check for signs of a struggle as well. But can I check if anyone's, or there's any immediate danger? Is it are we being watched? Are there
Perception roll, please.
Are there people lurking in the shadows? Shadows? I speak shadows. Perception. I think it's 15. Oh, 17.
17. Oh, that's pretty good. So you notice the glimpse of some figures moving about in the large village hall mud hut, basically.
Mm-hmm.
There are tiny little gaps in it. Well, there's not really any windows to it. There are gaps in like while it's sturdy, there are gaps in the. Well, I want to say brickwork, but it's not really brickwork, like mudwork.
Okay.
And
So you
through
can
the
see them.
yeah, and you can sort of see the shadow of some pretty large creatures sort of
Okay.
moving about inside it.
Quick question about my spear.
Yep.
You know its blink ability.
Yep.
Do I just hold my hand out for it to come out, or is there
It'll
something
just
I need to do?
once it hits something, it will then reappear.
Oh, okay. It has to.
If it gets like if it gets stuck in something, and it will reappear back in.
Okay. Just making sure in case I have to say some words like appear or
Oh
something.
no. Someone. So, what is your mark doing?
Can you repeat what you say again?
I am Monarch.
Do I remember anyone got the same last name as me? Like in my family? My
You
part family.
no. Apart from your mum, there's no one else that says that. There have been conversations in the past which have alluded to what this means,
Yeah.
but I can't say any more.
From a player perspective, I think I can tell what's happened because, of course, previous character, but Moran has no idea. So I have to keep my mouth shut.
And I said,
Did Thunderin mention about the people in the hall, or
Oh, sorry. Yes. I'll I won't make there, but I'm more like the gesture towards this big building.
Okay, so don't give it to yourself, and you
is
gesture to the
it dark in the hall?
in the hall is kind
What
of
time
dark.
of day is it?
It's midday
Midday.
for you guys. So it's like it's bright out here, and in the hall is quite dark. There's not really any, like there is a door to it, so you would have to open a door to go in. But
I'm going to approach the hall and open the door slowly.
So as you begin to open the door, you see a giant, kind of like brownish, dirty hand come down and sort of just push the door back. Make a strength check. Are we contested?
A strength check against a giant. Just straight strength.
Oh yeah.
That's 10. I've got.
I rolled high.
Oh god.
Natural 20, here it comes.
Just a little finger.
You die.
15.
It's not too bad. So you do get knocked backwards. So like as you begin to push it open slowly, the hand comes down and pushes the door back with such force, it kind of throws you backwards a bit, and you sort of stumble backwards, but you don't fall over or anything like that. But it's a lot more force than you expected. You do manage to sort of steady yourself a bit though. And then in the air, a voice goes, "Who are you?"
My name is Murren. I'm here to help.
Oh, sorry, you wouldn't understand.
Oh,
it.
I wouldn't understand.
So it comes out, it's only in giant.
Is there any oh, okay.
Sorry, that's my fault.
And then,
You can say that, but
Yeah.
and then
I wouldn't have understood it, so.
the moment I hear the giants, like I hear a familiar language, I kind of wanted towards that. I was like, "Who's this? It's me. It's you, Monarch." Giants, by the way, of course.
yeah, they get in giant, obviously. Yeah. They go, "Monarch is bad name. Monarch killed giant friends."
And then I said,
Sorry, I tend to -3.
First of all, do I recognize him? Like
You don't recognise these, like the voice at all.
And then I said, "What's happened here? I'm trying to. We're here to help."
Is any of this being translated into common,
Of course not.
or is it all just to us?
To you, it's just like a gruff language. It's just like a.
It's Greek to us, as it were. It's
Yeah,
foreign.
it's just like
it's
grunts.
completely foreign to us.
Yeah. And it's a weird sight seeing like the grunts come from a tabaxi. So these cat creatures are coming out with some grunts that sound like it should be from a giant. Sorry, what were you asking? Whether that was
like, so what's happened here? We're here to help.
and goes, "Guy called Monarch come in town. He grow big. He punch brothers to death.
And where is he now?"
He went up."
Just kind of mutter to the others. One could do something like that.
And then, okay, I basically simplify, explain to everyone. It's like, we got this guy called Monarch. He just came in, turned big, and started attacking everyone. And he just went up to the mountain. We need to go now.
Do you know any other monarchs?
Monarchs, yeah.
I mean, you're monarch, so I mean, do you know another monarch?
Lee, I might need your help here.
You don't. Not.
No, I don't think I do. Okay, and then now I start telling everyone this little bit of my background stories. Like, well, although obviously I'm not a giant, as you can tell, but I was raised by a giant. I have no idea who's my parents, any people from my race or anything. That's it. That's all I told him. So I don't know anyone about you, Monarch. Well, that's what I've been told. My name is you, Monarch. And if Mica Horn is also upstairs as well, it's probably something's bad.
Who's Mica Horn?
Mica Horn is.
I know. No, I know. I as a player know who he is. Murren has no idea who Mica Horn is.
Sorry. So that was a question to you, Monarch.
Sorry, say that again, Lee?
So Marin's question was to you, Monarch.
No, who is Mica Horn?
I said, there's no time to explain who is who and what's what. Let's just go upstairs and find out more, and then maybe I can tell you more answer.
It would be nice to know what we are charging blindly into.
It is probably another couple 100 feet upwards to the next village anyway, so you do have time to relay this information if you begin to walk.
Okay, and then I said, yes, sure, we can walk and talk.
I can't shapeshift anymore, so I'm stuck. If he's dashing, I'm stuck 30 feet behind him.
Yeah.
This time just like 20 feet, just normal.
It's enough to hear him.
Like 20 feet space.
So you are speaking quite loudly, but it's enough to hear.
So I would just say, okay, and then I was explaining about the whole Mica Horn that was created by my mother, and then he also killed my mother as well for unknown reason at this point. And then later on, at the very beginning, and I pointed out with the original cast, I would say, and then Mica Horn was helping with the co. So at this point, I know much more, but I don't want to tell them everything in the same times, because I don't want to explain everything. I just want to get there as soon as possible. So after that, I start running to 30 speed again.
Okay, so you realize that Mica Horn is a construct that his mum created. Something happened, and he betrayed the mum, killed the mum, or your Monarch's giant mum.
Doesn't say adopted mum.
Yeah, his giant mum, or mum who is a giant, I should say. And then I'm trying to think that
Big mama.
to word that.
Big mama.
Big mama. And then he began to work as a mercenary, partly for the coal, but paid more. That's the information you want to get across. I think you would know more, but I don't think you want to say any more. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Would I be able to tell that he's holding something back?
Make an insight check.
Do I need to roll it?
Deception.
I need to roll.
Deception.
Do I need to roll?
Yeah, you do.
Deception.
It's contested roll. You need to roll deception. Yeah.
I only got to 7.
16.
Yeah. So so Marin can tell that he's been truthful. He hasn't lied to you, but he hasn't necessarily told you everything he knows.
I'd probably just mutter to the others, except Van. I suppose it'd be mostly to Arthur, because he's the only one who doesn't really know you.
Yeah.
Like he's not letting us in on everything. There's more to this.
Yeah. You don't get it. It's not malicious in a
Yeah.
It's more like.
It's just basically because I'm not going to drop this. I will keep. I'm going to bring it up later.
That's fair.
But I can see that it's not relevant right now.
Is it a conversation to me, or is
No,
it
that's to
just to Arthur.
That's just to Arthur.
Okay.
And also
Who's not
at this
paying
point
any
you've
attention.
you've
No,
run.
I'm just not saying anything.
But at this point you Monarchs run ahead. And you take some time if there's anything else anyone wants to say as you're heading up this another 100 feet, and then as you're going up as well, you do notice that the air is getting a lot thinner. It's getting harder to breathe. You get the impression the higher you go, you have to sort of regulate your breathing. Any strenuous activity for a too long period would be bad, but you can.
Would I have as much trouble as an orc? I wasn't sure. Or half orc. I'm not sure if half orcs would have an easier time breathing with thinner air, like larger lungs or whatever.
I would say as a druid, you'd probably have more use to natural air and altitude and travelling in different areas. So you'd be more
So I'm handling it slightly
handling
better
it a
than
bit
the other.
better, you'd still have the same effect if you did like. But what I mean is like if you're dashing in high altitude, your monarch would be used to it because he's lived there for so long. But everyone else will have a bit of trouble eventually.
Mhm.
If you're dashing a lot in low altitude areas, it's not so much now, but then the higher you go up, obviously. The same way like Himalayan monks can breathe in altitude higher than
Some of the natural
people. Yeah. Same as like marathon runners
Yeah.
that come from
Higher altitude
Higher
places.
higher
places,
altitude
yeah.
places can have a sort of better regulation on their breathing.
I just have one quick observation. How did the giants react to seeing us with your monarch?
With your monarch, they seem to be indifferent.
I can see the beer. That's one.
Yeah, so
Well, like they didn't recognise your monarch as someone who used to live with them, or
Or like, oh, who are these people? Yeah.
no, like they recognise you monarch, but they seem to be more preoccupied by the events that
Okay.
happened. Like you get the impression that the events have happened recently enough that they're still a bit skitterish,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's less. It's not less they're trying to defend their property or wary of you. It's more as they don't care. They've got
Their
other stuff
concern-
going on.
Concern is bigger than
yeah,
strangers in the village. Sort of thing.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They have an overall concern that's bigger than the stranger in the village. Otherwise, you might have been in a very different situation.
Mhm.
Especially with hill giants, because hill giants aren't intelligent at all. Yep. So you begin to head up to the next village. You end up winding, go up this windy road, and you end up going into a cave or some more tunnel carved into the mountain. As you enter, it is dim light. There appears to be a winding road, and then as you come, or winding cave tunnel, and as you come to the, so you've gone through the mountain, you're inside. You come to like an end of the tunnel, and then there's a big open cavern. This is about 300 foot wide and 400 foot in length. And there is a bunch of wooden and iron mixed houses, like giant. It's a good 200 feet ceiling. There are the spires coming from the ceiling, and there's not so many coming from the ground. I won't use the words because I get confused. And you see a couple. Again, you see more dead bodies. But then you also see a bunch of. You see two fire giants speaking to each other in the a good 20 feet into the village. There are a bunch of different houses. There's a big village hall towards the back. It's quite organised. It's very grid-based system. It's very
is it still dim
military
light
style.
in here? Is it still dim light there?
It's dim light inside the cabin.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there are little pockets of like fire.
the tabaxis.
Tabaxi's got dark vision.
Yeah, so you're the only one who's struggling to see then, Arthur, because you're human.
Ditchy, my eyes are closed. No.
Because literally everyone
No,
else
yeah,
I
but
think
I
has dark
can't see.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very dark for you. There's you're struggling to see. There are little pockets of fire you can see. The fire giants are they're quite big. They're quite well armored. They have almost like massive sheets of metal carved into almost like glaive, almost in shape of. That's their kind of weapon.
Mhm.
They have a lot of iron armor. They have hair, which at first glance looks like actual red hair, and then at second glance it's actual fire. So their hair and beards and made of fire. They have fire seeping out of the armor, almost like a fire skirt, almost a fire kilt, almost, and then fire seeping out of the like the bracers as well.
So, do I only see two of them?
You only see two immediately. If as you get further into this village, you do see a bunch of fire giants on the ground. In a couple of the huts, along, because it's sort of a grid-based system, you can sort of see on the most central part of the village there are huts either side, and they again have the bits of paper on, which contain it.
Yeah, can I take it and read it to everyone?
Yep. So as you're taking this, a fire giant comes up to you and goes, "Who are you?" In quite a commanding tone.
And then I said,
In giant, I'm assuming.
In giant.
well, first of all, do I recognize him?
You
People.
don't recognise him. The thing is, you spent more time in Coldin, so you'd recognise more people in Coldin than you would. You have passed through, so there is a chance, but it's not so many people. And it's been a while since you've been back here as well.
Okay, and I said, my name is Hugh. I'm here to help. In giants, of course.
Yep. There you go. Do you know what's happened?
Would they ask me?
Yes. Yeah.
I went to the other village, and one of the survivor told us that it was a guy called Monarch turned into a big things and start attacking. Is that right?
There you go. Yes. He attacked. He claimed he was, or kept shouting, "I am Monarch." He punched and fought in a giant stone form and killed my brethren. He goes, if you're really here to help, will you stick by our laws and our rules?
Yeah, of course. Can you tell me more about this Monarch guy?
Make a persuasion roll. I'll give you advantage because you haven't upset them yet. But obviously they're a bit suspicious.
Onto that.
Yeah.
Because I can speak their own language.
Yeah, that's right. So we got advantage.
Yet.
The DC is not difficult, but I just need you to roll it just to see
one.
how trustworthy they believe you are.
Was it persuasion?
Yeah, persuasion, because you're the second group that's come through, and obviously they're a bit on edge, so it's more to see whether you're making more on edge or whether they
I got
help you out more.
60.
16.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's good rolls, don't they? Okay. He goes, I'll tell you more. He claimed, I am Monarch. He kept shouting it as he punched and pulverized my brethren with sheer bludgeoning force. Our weapons or our fire did not have effect. We had to revert to basic weapons. Our basic weapons did not have an effect. Very few of our brethren could attack him. He says, one or two that have found special weapons or powered weapons could attack him.
And then is he a giant?
Who you're speaking to, or
Yeah.
who you're speaking to is a fire giant. Yeah.
No. Is Monarch a giant? What is he?
He big stone creature. I don't know.
And then I said, I don't think that guy is called Monarch. I think that's another person. I met him before. And then I kind of described basically what Mica Hon looked like to it.
Which form are you describing him as?
So he's made out like with different rock. I believe he's got this necklace, like a big stone necklace. He was wearing.
He the fire giant agrees and he says, "Yes, that's who it was."
Sorry, please say that again.
That's who it was.
And then I said, yes, that is why that your weapon can't fight him, because you need some special weapon or special magic item to defeat him. And his name is not called Monarch. He's called Mica Hon.
Yep. So the other fire giant steps in and goes, "Well, you fight him for us."
I will. Don't worry. I will.
He killed our brethren.
And then
He needs to die.
Can I do like I don't know exactly how a giant do their handshake style.
It's more like a fist pump. It's just like a very, very powerful fist bump.
Can I do a fist pump?
With an explosion at the end because they're fire giants.
He's gonna get knocked flying
Yeah,
from this
make-
fist bump, isn't
He
he?
will do. Make a strength check.
Well, strength check or strength save?
Strength save actually. It'll be a strength save. Oh god.
I'm just like,
Punch.
I'm just like,
What's going
16.
on? Yeah.
they look like they're
16
arguing.
total, yeah.
The way that they're
rolled
talking, they look like
16.
they're arguing.
So aggressive.
Yeah, it's just like,
So weird.
and then you see them do a fist pump, and you see your monarch just go flying backwards. It's 16 plus 7 against 16. So, you take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you get like thrown back against a hut on the other side of the.
Yep. And then I said, I assume Mica Hon went up again, went to the next village.
Yes, he ran. He raided through, and he ran that way. A couple of our brethren followed, but they haven't returned.
And then, okay, in that case, I go back to explain to like everyone, just saying that, yes, so I was right. It was Mica Hon. Mica Hon's trying to pretending it's me, that shouting that I'm Monarch, and then in the same time attacking everyone. He just went to the next village. We need to be hurry. And then after that, before everyone say everything, and then I go back to the fire giants, and I say, by the way, what's your name?
Well, one of the fire giants goes, "I am Fuego,
There you go.
and my friend here is Ferrero."
And I say,
Is Ferrero's surname Roche?
You don't know,
And then
but also yes.
I say to both of them, I said, very nice to meet you. My name is Monarch. And then I just start running.
Okay, so you say that, and they sort of look at you as you just sort of just disappear.
Did we ever read the notes on the doors?
You did not read the notes on the doors. So you can follow, but you haven't read the notes on the doors.
I'm going to read the notes on the doors.
Okay, so as you go and read the notes on the door, they're actually pages. They are written by did you have a name for your mother, Wong? So you read the notes, and it is from another monarch, but it's a Marian monarch, or spelled Marian, Marion. And it describes a ritual of how to create a construct. At the end of the bits of papers, once you've clicked them all, it says about a warning, and it says to make sure that the runes and the candles you have to set up as a ritual are not knocked down or that make sure none of them are extinguished during the process. Otherwise, the risk of a soul into the construct is possible. Where it says about the word soul is scratched out. You can read it behind the scratch, and underneath soul is a different set of handwriting. It says Mica. Or Mica.
I'm basically just going to show all this to Robin when I see him, rather than copy it into his notepad as well.
No, just show him that, because there's a lot there. Yep. So you want to starting ahead. You take the time to have a quick glance at the notes and take it. Do you take them with you, or?
I will take them with me.
Yep. So you grab the notes down, have a read, and you relay this information as you're moving.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can hear as well, or?
No,
I would try and tell him. I don't know if he's close enough to hear me.
If you makes a perception roll to see if you catch any of that.
I would be shouting it.
No, literally the moment I said
Oh, you run literally
I'm
straight.
running, and then basically I already gone.
You've got to catch him up.
I don't think I
You'd be like 120 feet. You'd be like 60 feet behind him.
And we don't actually know what's coming up in the next. We haven't been warned about what's in the next town.
You do not know.
Yeah.
But you do feel as you run up and you're trying it, you can see Monarch running up the winding tunnels. He runs back towards the back of the village, out a tunnel the other side, or up some makeshift steps in the cliffs, almost like a straight, because this village is quite grid based. He runs up the other side, runs down this winding tunnel. You can just about see him before he almost disappears, and then as you come back outside, the bright light hits you. Almost takes a little while for you to adjust, and you get instant hit with quite a bit of cold. Yeah, and you notice there's snow starting to form on the bit of the mountains as you come out the other side. It's almost like the tunnels were actually in the village, like a little ramp upwards. You come out onto snow. It's quite chilly up here. You feel the air getting thinner. It's quite clear still. It's sunny and clear. It's a lot brighter than inside. And as you begin to focus, you see Monarch heading in front, and then behind that is a bunch of almost like a selection of ice spires. If you imagine ice spires merging at the base to form a almost like a giant hut. It's like naturally formed ice spires which have had a hole carved out of it. You do see about 4 dead frost giants, which are large, huge actually. They're huge creatures. They have long Gandalf length beards. They have metal armor, a bluishy frosty skin. The dead bodies sort of evaporating a little bit as well, so the steam coming off the dead bodies. They seem to be wearing metal armor, skull, bone plates. They have horns coming out of their helmet. They all seem to have axes laid on the floor nearby them. There is another good. There is 4 frost giants about this village, and they look angry. look very angry.
I wait until everyone comes back first.
Yep, so you wait until everyone catches up, and they finally catch up with you just before the village. They bump into you.
And I said, be careful. The giants here look angry. Although I'm from giants, but you can never tell what they're thinking. So just be careful here.
We'll stay here, or we'll just wait until you finish talking to them.
As he moves ahead, I'm going to brush my hand against him and cast guidance.
Okay, so you feel Moen brush his hand against you. Moen starts planted in the snowy ground.
So guidance. So once before the spell ends, target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one ability check in its choice. It can roll the dice before or after making the ability check. The spell then ends. Only lasts for a minute.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so you Monarch approaching the frost giants.
Yeah.
So as you approach them, they notice you come over, and they sort of turn almost in formation, two on one side, two on the other. They're holding their axes down, so they're not like ready to attack, but they are holding them ready if they need to use them.
And then basically I put my hands up, like just not like all the way up, but just like I'm here to, come in peace. Or was it in Giants speaking?
Yep. So back in Giant, they speak back and they say, "You are the second group. You really come in peace?" And they look a bit like they're a bit disbelieving.
And I said, "Yes, I am. I was born here. I was born not in this village, but on the next village." And then I mentioned my mother's name.
So you mention Marion Monarch. They go, the Monarch name has been tainted.
Yes.
Your mum was nice.
Go on, you.
That's right. He just, even though you try and speak, the giant just interrupts you, and he says, "Marion was nice. She was always a nice lady, even when she come here originally, in her original form. This new monarch, he taints the name. He's killed her brothers, my sisters."
What? And then I said, 1 second, what do you mean by her original form?
When she looked like you.
Me, as?
Yes, when she looked like you.
And okay, I was like, okay.
They're not, so you would notice they're not super intelligent.
Yeah.
Your cloud giants are by far the most intelligent.
And I said, well, I am her son.
Make a persuasion roll. I'll load a DC, but no, you'll have advantage.
You've got guidance as well.
And you've got guidance, so you can roll a D4.
Natural. No. Persuasion.
Yes, please.
No. I got 17. I didn't use any.
Okay. So I just rolled a natural one. So, and
your terrible rolling strikes again.
And
That's
they're
perfect for the
wisdom's +0 and intelligence -1.
Just pick
So
one.
Before you continue, is there any more notes on the doors?
make a perception roll. Because obviously you're not quite near the doors, but
Am I allowed to cast guidance on myself? It says you touch one willing creature.
I would say yes, but would cost a spell slot. So
There's a cantrip.
then it won't cost a spell slot.
Right, perception, which is +3. Then I've got guidance on myself. So that's 11 +3, which is 14.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 4. Well, I haven't rolled my
you
D4
wanna do
yet.
D4?
Um,
That help.
That was a 1, so that's 15.
That's enough. That's just enough. There are some more notes on, because there's less doors, but there are some notes attached to almost the sides of the ice things, but it looks like these ones have been ripped, like angrily ripped.
Mage Hand would be really useful where it's about now.
It would be. No one has it.
Because I don't particularly want to go strolling through.
Yep. So it's enough persuasion, and they're like, we'll let you go to Coldin, but you must make the monarch name right. If they said that to you, monarch.
Yes, of course.
Right. Okay. Yep. So they sort of stand either side, and they sort of warily are watching the group, but you are free to roam. But they are very, very suspicious. So you just got to be a bit careful.
Am I able to retrieve the...
Yeah,
torn
you
notes?
can retrieve the torn notes. The giants sort of watch you as you do it. They're playing sort of close eye. These notes seem to be like a diary entry, again written by Marion Monarch. From what you can piece together is day 1. Retreated from Daggerford. My research was not welcome there. I have been forced into hiding. I am looking to disguise myself as the ones I'm staying with. You get another one which is day 80. And she mentions new disguise is working well. My research can continue. I'm learning more and more how beneficial this can be. Then there is sort of day 380, where she says, research is dangerous. There are unforeseen risks which could cause danger to me and my newborn monarch. Then there is day 600, where she mentions one of my construct has gained a soul. The soul is tainted, and I am worried about the future and the safety of my family. His name is, and then it's ripped. So you don't get quite to read that, unfortunately. And that's sort of all the pieces you find. It's almost like they're placed on purpose for someone to find.
Is blank. Could you repeat the day 81?
day
I could not.
81,
I could
so
not
second
write
one.
as fast as you read it.
So day 80 was.
This guy's working well.
I can continue my research. And she basically describes how beneficial she thinks it could be, which is in direct contrast to the later days, where it seems to have gone a bit awry.
Yeah.
Or awry even, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Is you Monarch are you reading the notes as well, or did you just walk straight past them all?
No, I was with the giants. They're gonna lead me to the other guys, right? I don't know.
They weren't coming with you, they're sort of letting you have free roam around the village.
Okay. I guess in that case, yeah.
Yeah, because you know that the giants are generally quite tutorial, so they won't want to leave their village if they're the only ones left. They want to protect it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess in that case, I was with everyone listening to the whole thing. I said, "Well, that's a twist." And then
You didn't know this about your mother?
No, I did not know. My mom trying to keep it. It's a secret. I guess she trying to protect me because I was still young. I guess.
Your mother sounded like a strong person. You should be proud.
I know that she will be there watching over me. But first, we need to find out. I guess now he's my brother, well, half brother. What is he up to? So, we are going to see was it Lee? Can you tell me, like, the guy, is he the leader of the force? What is he?
Who's already in Coldin, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can go to Coldin and see who's remaining. If you do go there, you'd probably want to speak to or he's not really like the way your sort of village worked. He'd be sort of like the mayor equivalent. They don't really call it a mayor, but he'd be like the guy people go to get stuff done.
In charge.
Yeah.
So the chief then.
Chief.
Much.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and then I said, well, what now? We are going to see to the chief. Maybe he got more information for us to try to understand what's really going on, because at this point I still don't know why he started attacking the giants. So let's go find out.
Yep. So you begin to head off up into like it's almost like it's the mountain bit. It goes up almost like up like a curve. Snow. It gets a bit thicker as you approach, and it gets to a point where you're high enough, and if you look down the mountain, you can only see clouds. Like below you, so you're above the clouds almost. It is very cold. It is very thin air up here. You'd be alright for a little while. Just try not to do too much strenuous exercise. You'll have to slow down if you're running.
No, I guess at this point, or at least I am more.
You could do it. You Monarch could do it, but other people couldn't.
Yeah, no, I meant like more. We're not. Well, at least I'm not running anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like more like a carefully, like watch where we walking, that kind of type, because it's getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
Like, the dangerous is getting there.
Yep. I need everyone to make a I'd say dexterity saving throw, please. As you begin approaching higher and higher, and the snow's getting thicker, Ground's getting thinner.
Ground's getting thinner. Air's getting
Yeah,
thinner.
air's getting thinner. Sorry.
Next saving.
Yes, please.
I don't know if that's 13 or 11.
So,
Do you want me to
roll
reroll?
it again.
Yes.
Don't like land on the bit where it's between 11 and 13.
Yeah, it's just like 11.5 or 13.
5.
Oh no.
Oh, 18.
Okay.
That's much happier. 18 plus 3
So,
is 21.
No, I was fine. 13.
13.
Yeah.
Do you want me
Well,
to roll for Runespark?
yes, please. Yeah. What was you, Monarch?
What's his dex?
26.
That's quite good.
There's these ones, I think.
It will be.
Yeah, it's got like a +8 on saving throw.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus
It's
two. I'm
dex.
going to assume it's the
Because
plus
you're on
two.
20
It'll
or
be that
19
+2,
you
yeah.
want, so.
Yeah.
+2.
Oh, nat 1 for Runespark.
Okay, so
Oops. Who wants to tell Robin I've killed his character?
so as you're approaching, you're being quite quiet and you're being calm. So it's no for your own. It's just that no one really has come up here and the ground's been recently disturbed. As you begin stepping and climb up the snow, you begin to witness some of like the snow begin to fall. Merlin sees this first. The snow begins to fall and it begins to get a bit faster. Almost like the side of the mountains begin to start having a.
Did we need dex saves for the animals?
You wouldn't need it. You need one for Bagheera. You wouldn't need anyone for any of the fly animals. They can fly.
Wouldn't Runespark be on Saphira though?
If he's on Severa, he's fine. So you don't need the roll actually.
Okay. Disregard the natural one.
Disregard the natural one. Although I'll put some flavour next to him.
Oh, second team 7.
7. Okay, so it begins to slide.
I'm riding mouse.
You're
so
riding mouse.
Mouse,
Yeah,
Mouse,
so
mouse can't
so
fly, so.
Mouse begins to slide with you.
Mouse's ability is equal to mine when I ride him.
Yeah. So as you run, and you begin to sort of drift and begin to slide down towards the right. So,
Bye.
so basically, you're getting caught in the snowside avalanche bit to the side.
How far away are they from me?
About 10 feet. You can try and grab me if you want. Bagheera begins to slide. Your foot. Redigus begins to slide. Fandarin's footing is okay. Mouse and Arthur begins to slide. As you slide, you try and grab onto Saphira. You kind of don't quite grab it properly, and then Saphira does a little barrel roll with Runespark, and they're a bit queasy.
Are they sliding towards a cliff?
They're sliding towards the. So you got like a slope up towards in front, and as the snow falls, they begin to slide down a slope towards the right of the cliff. Eventually, it will just become like a super steep hill, and then just start rolling.
I grab my great
You've got
sword
some
and just
time.
I just dig it onto the ground.
Like a gradient's getting ever
Yeah.
steeper. Make a strength check, please. They got time, but then if they get far enough, they'll just begin to slide. It's like basically how the other giants died. You might sort of knows his footing, so he's not.
21.
It's okay. 21. Okay, so you dig in your spear.
Great sword.
Oh, great sword. So you dig in your great sword. Manage to sort of just catch on some of the rocks. It's not as good as a spear, so you do slide a bit, but it is enough to catch some ground.
There's a reason I'm not using my spear.
Because it'll blink back to you.
Yeah. Oh.
And you'll keep
Would have been
sliding.
funny, to be fair. Would Mouse be stopped by that as well?
He's on mouse, so yeah, it would be stopped because basically his ability. Ridicus is still sliding.
How far am I from Mouse and...
Maybe 10 feet from each other.
How far is Ridicus from me?
About 5 feet. So Ridicus is just sliding past you.
Can I try and grab, get a hand and grab it? Because obviously I'm holding a stick of that.
I'll do this if I slide down, draw my bow, and kind of hook it round. I'll try and,
Okay, now you have straight roll.
Straight roll. Okay.
And I'll just kind of reach out to see, because I'll start to slide as well.
Be a dex saving throw.
Whoa, no.
Be a saving throw, but
6. No, 5.
so
And as I watch them do that, I shake my head, plant my staff in the ground, and cast Grasping Vine on Ridicus.
okay, so this is Ridicus begins to slide. You see Arthur reach out, try to grab Ridicus.
Oh, hold on.
Doesn't quite make
Hold on.
it.
Can I re-roll? I've
Or-
got. I
Oh,
forgot.
your
I
ability.
got to re-roll a failed save one
Yeah,
day.
you
Okay.
can do.
10.
10,
Still not enough.
13.
Still not enough. So the
It
second-
changed. It was on 20 and then it
So
rolled to
you
the
go
side.
you go to grab Ridicus. It's close. You kind of grab his paw, and his paw begins to slip. And as Ridicus's paw begins to slip, you begin to slide a bit further. You, at the second, see it, and you try to grab his arm with your hook your bow. Hooks his arm successfully, and would have worked. But he's let go of Ridicus. Ridicus begins to slide, and you see this spine come out from almost sort of.
It just
Behind to your right.
just spouts
Oh,
it from the ground. Like my staff gets planted down, and then it's as if the vine grew out from underneath and then grew back up
Oh, okay.
elsewhere within range.
So you see a vine just like burst out of the snow, a bit of snow and like wet snow just sort of fly about as this vine just comes out of the ground, grabs Ridicus. Ridicus is relieved, but also concerned that this vine is grasping him.
Well, he's welcome to make a dex saving throw, but
he chooses
I wouldn't
to fail
recommend
because
it.
he knows it's beneficial.
Yeah.
He's not. Panthers aren't stupid. Their intelligence is alright.
I'm gonna just use the vine to pull him back onto more stable
Yep.
ground.
So you put him back onto more stable ground. And then as Ridicus
Thank you.
walks
Deeply.
on, he's like timid cat, and he's like got his claws out and he's digging his claws in. You know, like when like cats walk on like surfaces, they get their claws out and they'll go and like stomp on surfaces like that.
How's Ruspark?
Rinspot's right, 'cause he's on Severa.
Okay,
Yeah, Roosevelt
He did a
in the
barrel
air.
roll. I'm feeling a bit queasy, but he's fine.
I did. Okay, it was quick.
So, are you still progressing?
I think that's the only thing that we can do.
Yep, so you progress. Eventually you come to the Colden, which is your hometown. It's very familiar. And what you notice here is that a lot of it is stone based. It's almost Greek style stone, massive pillars. And it's all quite lavish compared to the other giant towns. It's clearly like the most well built. Seem to kind of know what they're doing here. It's kind of in almost like a spiral shape, so all the houses are in a spiral. In the center is where the chief would normally be.
Are there any dead bodies?
There are a couple of dead bodies. So there's about coming into the village. There's about 5 dead bodies, and then you hear a voice come out of a nearby house, and it shouts, "You, come here, bring your friends." And you might recognise this voice as the actual chief. He's in one of the houses on the outskirts of the village.
The big dog.
I said, I'm going to call him. I'm good. Because also I know.
Oh, his
because as
name?
Kids, though, I used to call him this nickname. I call him
Big cheese.
the big cheese. The big cheese.
Yeah. You then feel telekinesis, or like a telepathic. For the rest of the party, gets like telepathic notes, comes from your head, and he basically says, "Come to the second house on the left." It goes to all the rest of the party, basically.
And then
It is dangerous to be in the village.
And he's speaking common.
He's speaking in common, yeah. And Mica Horn is still around.
And then I quietly go to the second house. I just pointing at people, just like, this is the second house here.
Yeah, I'll go in.
Yep. So
Oh, is it definitely the chief that said that then?
it's definitely a chief. You wouldn't necessarily know it, but your monarch has told you it's that.
Okay, I'll follow them then.
The voices, yeah.
Yep.
Some say.
So as you so you come in, and what you do notice is the houses here are very big. It's quite comfortably. There's not too much to it. It's all sort of open plans. You have like the seating area, the kitchen, the toilet is in the corner. It's all in one room, but it is a large room, and it fits you all quite comfortably, including your pets.
I hope it does anyway, because it is a giant living.
Well, yeah, true. It's a very.
I mean, if it doesn't fit all of us, it's kind of quite a
that's
small
bit-
giant.
Yeah.
It's a small giant. Yeah, that's very true. But then he speaks to you and goes, "You know what's happened, right?"
Well, I know Mica Horns here start attacking everyone, but I don't know why.
He goes, "I don't know either, but Mica Horn keeps saying, I am Monarch, and just saying it all, he'll ruin the Monarch name."
Is this in
And then
common or
and then-
giant?
It's in common, so you can all understand it.
And then at this point, I saw the big cheese, my necklace. I said, on my journeys, I found this necklace, which is, I know, is similar to my
He goes,
mother's one.
"Oh, but it is your mum's necklace."
It is?
"Yes." He goes, Your mum, I don't know what you know, but when your mum came to us, she was on the run due to her research.
Yeah, I know that bit.
Her research allowed her to create constructs, but she found it increasingly difficult to deal with the constructs, and therefore she made another necklace to allow people or herself to change to the constructs so she can handle them if they ever got out of control. Mechanically, you can use that necklace to get the strength of a iron. Let me check that. I think the strength of an iron golem.
So basically,
You
I've
can.
been having that power all alone.
Yep, you can turn your form into an iron golem. You can use it once per day. I'm going to say you can use it for 2 turns max, I'd probably say. It's quite powerful, but if I need to change it, we'll balance it out
Okay.
Just a
once per long rest.
player question rather than a character question.
Yep.
She was ousted for her experiments regarding constructs, but we have a member of our party who has excuse me, a constructs dragon.
Yes, but
Is that just the attitudes of the town she was in?
it was the attitude of the town she was in. So you didn't have the construct dragon when you went through the town of Daggerford, which is a tabaxi-run town.
Okay.
So she left the tabaxi-run town and went into hiding in the giant area, or the giant place, and they seem to be a bit more accepting of constructs.
But
Being bigger.
tabaxis generally aren't.
Tabaxis are generally smarter and know the risks are way worse than the benefits. Giants
So if
are
we go back there, they're not going to react well to Saphira.
no.
That would be... Okay. Not
Not
writing
at
any
all.
of that down, but
No, but just for player knowledge,
Yeah.
that's the logic I was going for. And obviously, the chief says, well, when she created Mica Horn, he was supposed to be a construct to help the village do tasks, but something went wrong. There was a ice storm, and her rituals got disrupted, and we believe this is the cause, or the birth of Mica Horn and his not so nice tendencies. And when
Yeah, go on.
And then, when this happened, we managed to get Mica away from the town and protected it for so long. But he seems relentless to get you back and get revenge on your family.
Do you know where is he now?
He's in the center of the village. He's destroyed my chieftain home and made a circular area. And he keeps saying, "You monarch will come."
Looks like he got a wish.
And then I said to the chief, I said, "It's okay now, big chief. You can leave it with me.
He goes,
Let me face this. Let me face him once and for all."
he goes, "Be careful, you monarch. I see you are stronger than you were when you left, but be careful."
I will.
He mentions that a couple of cloud giants have formed an alliance with Blagaficus, and they might be working with Mica.
Okay.
And apparently the alliance between Blagaficus and other cloud giants have been going on for some time. It's just they're using this opportunity to sort of progress the Blagaficus ideals, which you are, Monaco's aware of this and Fanarin's aware of this, and so is Runespark. That his ideals was he wanted to bring back the giants' power by making them more aggressive and more of attacking other towns. Bring them back to their former glory was his words.
Okay.
You have heard that before from Blagaficus himself, back on the Resmith skyship.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing?
Let's do this.
Can we pause this? Are we going to battle now?
I wouldn't. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then I say, I got a plan, and also I say back to the guys, I say I got a plan.
Go ahead.
Well, do you guys remember way back when we were in town that I got this magic scrub that I got called Mirror Illusion?
Minor illusion.
Minor Illusion.
Okay. I saw the wizard Harry give something to you, but I don't know what it was.
So what we can do is I can create an image of myself facing, just basically just going outside, just say, shouting, like, "Here I am, come face me." But the thing is, that wasn't really me. I can just, and then we attack it from on the side, from the back, or whatever. And then at least at this point we got the first attack.
So you want to make you may want to make an illusion of yourself so that we can get an element of surprise on him. Is that what you're trying to say? It sounds like quite a good plan to most of you guys, but I mean,
minor illusion to create a sound and a. Can you create a sound and a?
I
thing?
don't. You can't create.
Well, so you can create one or the other.
Yeah, you can't create a sound, but
I know, but I can say something first, and then create that, and then start going to a different direction. So
Okay.
I don't need to make it
could
at the
do
same
that.
time.
it's a good plan for you guys. I mean, I'll have to step back a bit.
I also I know
Unfortunately, I won't
you
be-
don't have to do the sneaky part. You can join us after when we face to face.
Yes, I'll join you guys in the face to face. I won't do any sneaky stuff.
Sneaky part, no. Maybe you can lead him onto the soft snow.
I could just try and turn him into a rabbit.
That's not a bad idea. And push him down that soft snow. Create an avalanche. Let the nature do its work.
No,
Quickest battle ever.
But that's,
no, it's had to be me.
that's understandable.
I need to finish this.
You said.
I-
Oh, sorry. You said the fire giants, their weapons didn't affect Mica. Do you know what
No.
does hurt him?
Well, it's because the necklace. That's why.
Oh, okay.
It's because the necklace protecting him. So, basically, without anyone without a necklace or any, I mean, I don't know much, but so far I know it's the necklace, and maybe some magical item can attack him, make some damage to him. Other than that, I don't think people can do much. So first thing, I guess we need to get that necklace off him first.
Okay.
Okay.
Out of context, you know, my greatsword.
Yeah.
Now that it's got that projectile attack,
Yeah.
is it a reach or is it
It's a ranged.
range?
So
So
that'll
what's the
be
range
60
of it?
feet.
So it has 60 feet range.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, player comment. Druids do have access to dispel magic, but I'd need a long rest to be able to get hold of it on my spell list.
Yeah.
So
You could.
it's a possibility to dispel the magic of the
Oh, the
amulet,
Yeah.
but like I'd need a long rest.
We're
Is
not
that
taking a
feasible?
long rest. No, 8 hours is going to be gone.
It's you could. That's up to the players.
We're not taking a long rest. Because if we take a long rest now and he
You're not
intrudes
taking
us
a
in a
long
long rest, we're gonna get this surprise element. We're not going to be doing a surprise element against it. He'll do a surprise element against us.
Yeah. I think that's a good plan. Distract him first. Maybe first course of action, get the sneak in, and maybe take the necklace then, or take the amulet at that point. Then we can launch a full assault with the full team.
Does the amulet itself have a protection? Would you know?
Oh, sorry, what?
Would you know if the amulet itself has a protection? Like, if we tried to swing at the necklace to cut it off, would our weapons affect it or not? Or is it just the person itself?
That I don't know. I mean, at the beginning I got D20 trying to attack him. I still didn't.
What do you mean?
What is this D20
What
of
is
which
this
you speak?
D20 you speak of?
D20 is move.
It's the giant term for dead on target attack. It's a giant word.
The giant turn of attack. And meaning that
God.
it's 100% hit.
Anyway, so what are you? Were you trying to say that you got a really good hit on it, but it had no effect?
It's not no effect that he's noticed.
Okay.
And
It's just
one
that if
more
we
thing.
don't know if we can cut the necklace off or not, because if we can cut the necklace off, or if Fandarin gets a shot at the necklace to take it off,
No, we can't do that. I totally forgot one thing.
what?
And then I show him the necklace. You see this?
What?
You see this is shining?
So he pulls out the necklace, and it's the same neck. Fanner reckons it is the same necklace Mica wears, but this time it's red and not green. It's the same one he took from Daggerford, the statue on Daggerford.
It's like at this point it's beeping. It's basically mean
Yeah, it'd be
the other person got the necklace is near.
Okay.
so.
So
Yeah, as you put it out, it begins to glow a reddish sort of
So
glow,
does,
and it begins to flash.
so does that mean that he knows that you're here now? Does his one flash when you're near?
possibly.
I think we need to think quick then, otherwise he will know where to go.
So
So we need to go with your plan.
That's why I come out with another plan. So stick with the first one, my illusion. In the same terms,
Mm-hmm.
I got this magic. I can turn myself into invincible.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I try to get close to him, sneaky, and trying to take the necklace off him. Try. That again, I haven't tried. I don't know whether it worked, but
Okay. Could be quite. Both plans are quite good. But the thing is that will you be wearing your necklace?
I have to.
So that means that if you go invisible, I don't think it might, because obviously you're flashing. It means that you guys know where each other will be, possibly. So it could, even using invisibility might not actually work, because it will have a sense saying that you're right next to it. Because you're flashing, and so is his. That means that you guys know where each other are.
Surely it just means that you're close to the other person and not that other person is stood 400 feet on your left.
But then
Or-
the thing is that we don't know what the effect of the thing is, do we?
I could.
If one you Monarch makes a intelligence check, intelligence or history, whatever's
Could I
highest.
make an Arcana check too?
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check to inspect it.
Was it
Intelligence or history, whatever's highest.
history or
Intelligence.
19 for me.
intelligence?
We'll come back to that.
They both 2, so I only got 7 this time.
So you can't. So you Monarch can't remember if he knows or if it flashes in different frequencies. You sort of inspect it and you get the impression that it's not like a locate object spell. So you think it's more presence than distance, but you couldn't be 100% sure.
What he said.
Um,
Save me from repeating it all again.
I mean, at the end of the day, yours is a not 100% sure, and he can't remember, so we still don't know if it's possible.
We don't know, but this is the best we've got currently.
That is true, but if we get found out, plans.
He's
gonna be quite
rolling to see if
useless.
Mika Horn finds us.
But don't forget that. Don't forget for the
take a
invincible
while.
plan. Because he's already knew that I'm here anyway, and especially I was like, I create an illusion that he was looking at me.
I mean, this
So-
is at the end of the day. I feel like this is your plan. Whichever plan you go with, we'll go with, because this is your fight, and we're here to help you. Your choice.
I feel like
Think quite quick as well, because don't forget he knows you're here.
You begin to hear. You can't really make out what it's saying, but you begin to hear some like shouting outside. It's one voice. You begin to hear some shouting outside. It's muffled because it's quite a bit of a distance, but
and then okay, let's go with the invincible.
You want to go invisible so that you can take it.
Okay, in the meantime, I want you guys to separate.
Where to?
Just around him.
sweet.
So you want us to go outside and be another distraction as well?
It's more trying to let's say the people who can attack like long range, so obviously stay some distance so they can fire, and for the people who close up, just stay close enough but not too far.
Runes,
So
but
when actually attack that, you guys can one in and start attacking.
so Runespark would ask. Obviously, you want us to spread out, like ideally before the fight.
Yeah.
So
And
okay.
we also need a signal if I successful got the necklace or not.
Do you have anything that can like make things bright or something like that? Because then you could just like put a signal up, like a fire or some sort.
Your rapiers glow. How bright?
Bright enough to see across the field.
Yeah, the rapiers.
I mean, if we don't see, if you want a signal, the moment that you're successful, pull your rapier out. But I don't know, can we actually see it? Because it's kind of like midday.
No,
You'll see it.
Because
Well,
it's invincible, so I was.
oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
But once he's grabbed it, surely that would be enough for an action to make him visible again.
Yeah, the moment he
Oh
grabs
yeah,
it,
yeah. So
you'll
if
lose
you
your
grab
ability.
it, yeah, you wouldn't. It's concentration, isn't it? So you wouldn't have to grab it and not stay invisible.
I got. How about this sound? My sound's ridiculous, but
Have a long rest. I have access to invisibility.
You can't have a long restaurant now. Then. What's your plan? Are we going with that one?
this might sound ridiculous, but the people who know me, I got this wand that can make people fall.
What's that got to do with fighting a giant? Or your brother or whatever?
So if it happened, I trying to pointing at him and he will fall.
What's that got to do with getting it?
How
so-
will that help?
It's a loud signal.
Oh,
So
it's
that
when.
people know
Okay,
that-
so when you. Well, I understand what you mean now. So when you successfully grab the amulet, you make him fart so that we know that you've done it. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yep.
We'll go with that then.
I kind of look at each individual person in turn like, are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are they serious? They're being serious. And then I'm going to look off to imaginary camera like I'm on The Office, like, are they serious?
Yeah. the chieftain looks at like you as well, like looks at Marin as well, and just like, okay, like this is interesting, but
Alright then, I'm gonna start heading outside.
before
Okay.
just as you say that, you then hear in an audible form, you hear a loud shout, and it says, I, Mica Horn, I am Monarch, brother of the Monarch family. I've destroyed my creator, and I'll destroy remnants of her family. I know you guys are hiding, but come find me and we'll settle this
And
once and for all. And he says again, Mica Horn.
At this point, is everyone kind of split out, or is it still?
You're all in the
inside
building.
No, this is happening before we're going outside now.
Yeah, you're in the building. And he goes,
Yeah, got it.
You Monarch, you should know now that my real name is I Monarch.
Oh.
Did that take a moment to process for you?
Oh.
So, for viewers, I'm sure all the viewers have got it, but Mica Horn is an anagram of I Monarch. That's been the case from day one, from the very start of the campaign, when Wong gave me his backstory.
Oh.
But as he says this, we'll leave this episode here and pick up next week. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this session.
I have, yes. I have.
Yep.
It's been very backstory heavy.
I have, yes.
How did Wong like the twist? The couple twists.
It's very unexpected with the story. Also, I know a little bit about it, but it still is like quite a surprise that he's my sort of brother-ish.
At this moment, I wish I had Wu back, because
Yeah.
I could have helped you so much in
That'd
this
been
fight.
Massive
Haskin
shot.
would have been interesting in this fight, especially since he got that Warhammer.
Oh yes, exactly.
And that really, really evil.
The evil talking
Bloodthirsty
weapon.
swords.
Yeah.
but it's also good that Heskin's not here, because Heskin agreed to a because he was like,
favour.
you owe me in the
Yeah.
future.
Haskin never made a magical bond. He had no intention of keeping his end of the deal.
No, but I would have been interested.
That would have
because
been interesting
That
on
would have
what would
played out
happen.
at some point. Yeah, but
This is when it turns out that Haskin was there all along. He's just silent.
And he has the mask on right now.
it's all gone horribly wrong.
Haskin was evil the entire time.
He's got the sword convinced him to take the mask, and now it's gone horribly wrong.
yeah, he's become the new Rosemary.
Mastermind.
Yeah, I do want to say one thing to the viewers. Like, when we're on the ways to the mountains, I kind of find a way to, how to say this, to have a happy ending for my character.
Happy ending for your character. What do you mean by that?
Happy ending. This is what I'm gonna say. Like, you guys who understand, like, at the end of the campaign, like, but I will do something that to. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what you, how happy it actually works out for you, Monarch. There's a lot more that will be thrown at you in this half of the campaign, but hopefully the viewers are enjoying this series. Remember to leave any comments down below. Remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell button to get notified when our latest video has been released. Remember to keep updated on our Facebook and Twitter pages for upcoming information and going on in the gaming world. So it's goodbye from us here.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later.